Will ages go by? Dead sound of misery. Come share our sorrows. Be one with the Hydra. Dead Sound of Misery by Blind Guardian. The year is 2023, where unfortunately there was a lost episode due to technical complications, but don't worry, our three newly awakened Stan users are here to fill in the gaps between what happened in episode 6 and what's going to happen in the new episode 7, featuring Tyson Reddick as Gamer X.
I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter. Linkin Park.
Korak as Dan Burnley.
I thought I was the only one who messed up. Yay.
And Chills as JK.
Go up, get down with the sickness.
With Alatos as the additional narrator. Yes, we're doing this. And welcome to the Tomb of the Red Giant.
Bark, bark.
Oh,
this is what happens when not one,
sakes.
but two audio clients fuck up during recording.
Hey, hear me out, though. I did not speak that much in the original episode. I was zoning out. I was not vibing that well that day.
That is
Oh no, I
fine
realized
because
something.
you made up for it.
I'm gonna wreck people right now in the we're recording this to add on to the episode because today is a different recording session day. Yes, this is a 2-for-1.
This is a 1 week after we recorded what you will all hear later.
So we know things that you don't, which kind of technically is always true.
Let's not spoil anything, though.
Exactly. We will not spoil the audience of what they're about to hear, but instead, let us inform the audience of what was supposed to happen.
We will try and go through a dramatized narration of some of the more important dialogue-heavy scenes. We'll actually do reenactments of more or less what was said, but the rest of it will include recaps of the kinds of insane shit we pulled, because there's still a lot to go over what we did.
And the funniest
Very
thing
much
about
so.
all of this is that it could probably all be summed up in like 30 minutes.
Yes, it made me very sad to find out that so much of it ended up getting lost, because that was a really eventful episode. There's a lot of good stuff in it.
We'll cover that now, don't worry.
We shall.
Indeed. So, on your last adventure, at least before this, you had a very fun time, asterisk on the word fun, with 3 of the cult members. I believe you had fun with Raina, with Francine, and with Pockets.
Mm-hmm.
But after having that little confrontation with all of them, you got a hot tip from Raina that Sofia would be down in Boston going towards the superhero, who Raina knows where she lives at.
Mm.
And so you all got in your car and went to the superhero's house.
Boston suburbs.
Yep, in the Boston suburbs.
The Boston suburbs. A pretty normal looking house from the outside, of course, and from the inside too. This was a regular living space. The point of interest was not the house itself, but the people in it.
Indeed.
We originally assumed from the viewings of from people viewing the tornado disasters that had been recently happening that one of the people in that house was a stand user responsible for causing tornadoes to happen. Jury's still out on that.
We
know
what they did.
So we learned this by using Linkin Park New Divide to phase through the wall and hyperextend my face to take a look.
And like.
Nope, that's later.
Radiohead.
Lathander's later.
And
Don't
Dan
worry.
Dan using little black submarines to check a look. You see, I need to bring back that saying. We need to check a look, people.
Through a use of substituting their door for one of virtual insanity
before that, we
doors.
need to note these guys' appearances.
Right, of course.
Yes. So, Yeah, so upon using New Divide to look through the area, as well as using Sergeant Radiohead for reconnaissance, you two got a look at one Pamela and
hey, isn't that Mark from Persona?
oh
No.
my goodness, and one Valere.
Isn't that just Ivan from the Fate Breakers campaign that is lost media?
So one thing that's that's going to be important is that I feel like we don't do a very good job at describing these characters visually when we
Yes.
initially meet them. So
And we will do that now.
this is good to correct that. So Pamela,
So
go ahead.
yes, Pamela is a black girl with a yellow beanie hat on with what looks to be a sort of comic superhero font of the letter F in sort of a grayish color.
Like a cool S, almost.
Almost. And she has on an orange t-shirt on.
We call this the cool F.
And then the next character, who is uncomfortably like a character Chills previously played in a Pokemon campaign we were in.
Mm-hmm. Named, or at least the Pokemon character was Ivan, but
Yes.
Valere
Indeed.
is a guy with blonde hair, blue eyes, sort of almost muscular physique, more toned than like
The suggestion
beefy.
of muscles.
Musails,
Yes, is
one
still
may
there.
say.
Indeed. But you two had encountered these people. You overheard them talking a little bit about the cult, about Sofia, and what have you.
So what happened next was we actually flipped the standard format of a stand fight. We made the traps and ambush then rather than the enemy stand users.
Also, joke's on
Yes.
you, I am activating a brand new stand ability.
Oh?
This is the Little Black Submarine Special. I can rewrite time.
No.
I did not...
You're not rewriting time. I'm sorry.
This is not made in heaven.
Thankfully, the original plan ended up falling through, which the original plan was to blow up the house as far as the people were concerned.
JK had his stand turn off the breakers, and I stuck in through Linkin Park and just...
Me stand?
No.
No, it was Dan's
Dan,
stand.
Dan.
It was
Right,
Little Black
right.
Submarine, because you guys put gas in there. If I turned off the breakers, if they went to turn on the breakers, a spark.
A boom.
Yeah.
Yes. JK, meanwhile, used their stand, Virtual Insanity, in order to create a false door in front of their real door in order to trap them inside their own house.
Also, I hung out on the ceiling and just ding-dong ditched them over and over.
Yes. This was a clever tactic to get them to separate so that we could possibly divide and conquer in this sort of scenario.
Indeed. But before you blew up the house,
We did not blow up the house.
you found an older gentleman upstairs.
And while Tyson is getting kind of ruthless in how he takes care of his enemies and after his kids, he doesn't want to blow up innocent bystanders, so he gently levitated him to the grass outside out of harm's reach.
Yep, there was some hedges that Tyson had gently planted the old man in to keep him out of the line of fire.
Will grow into a beautiful old man flower in spring.
Oh, goodness. But yes, after causing some distractions and diversions to get Pamela and Valera separated, eventually Valera was sent into the virtual insanity dimension.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Valir found himself into another one of JK's memories. Valir was suspiciously resistant to Canned Heat's forced sleep ability. But one thing that was conspicuous about them is that although they claimed to be one of Sofia's strongest soldiers, so to speak, their loyalty felt strange, as if tacked on, especially when considered with their story, as they were as they were kicked out of their previous home by one James Holly Whitley a good couple years ago, and then taken away from their home into the place where Sofia would give them their stand. Such experiences lit up a fire in JK to find out through Valeria the real location of where Sofia takes people when she wants to make them stand users, and that is Provincetown.
Yes, after some negotiations and banter with between UJK, between I forget the name of what's the name of the mascot on the can?
Space Cowboy.
Space Cowboy, thank you. And Valeria, you eventually managed to get enough hints out of Valeria that you could link all the connecting evidence to Provincetown. As
I managed to get him to slip up on his information.
It was very slick role playing, and it was deeply disappointing that 2 different audio fuck ups happened on 2 different people's recording lines.
Hey! I barely said anything until that last bit.
No, you were. It was a 3-hour episode. You were in there for the whole last hour.
Yeah, we had the entirety of 30 minutes of that last hour, so.
While the Valeria interrogation was going on, eventually you managed to lure Pamela outside of the house as well. Or rather, she kind of just went out of her own volition after smelling the gas leak.
And me ringing the doorbell over and over and over.
That as well. Eventually, we did get a look at her stand, which was a superhero outfit, aesthetically from the sort of 1960s golden era of superhero comics, which she announced her stand as Fearless.
Yo, is that Deku from My Hero Academia?
No, Deku was inspired by those guys.
No, Deku inspired those guys. You know that.
We actually discussed the idea of potentially doing reenactments of. We can't recite the exact dialogues word for word, obviously. We're not wizards, but
right.
We could at least try and get the general gist of the kind of conversations that happen. I think there are at least 2 such things we could do this for. One, if you want to try giving that a shot. If not, we could cut it.
Let's see. I think we should be able to do it now.
Okay, so I believe
for this particular scene.
I believe that this started with her walking out and me just kind of stuck in the wall. Before you ask, your granddad's safe. I don't want to get innocent.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Unlike you fucks, I don't get innocents caught in the crossfire.
Oh, God damn it. Look, I'm trying to do some good here, alright?
I'm trying to get my kids back.
And I'm sorry, I really am, but just... Please, you have to understand Sofia's idea, it will work. She's shown me everything, all the evidence she has on this thing, and, well, I believe her, this god of hers. It truly can bring a renewal to humanity.
And that's worth ripping entire families and loved ones and groups apart?
Only for now. Until she gets the right stand. Until she finds the right stand user as well.
Wait, you're telling me she makes stands?
Yeah, with her stand is what gave me and Valeria our abilities as well as everyone else in the cult.
Huh. Okay.
And I'm presuming that's where you all got yours, isn't it?
I mean, white giant snake thingy mabobber?
Close enough, yeah.
I mean, that's how Jake and I got mine, but I think that guy over there got it from a clock.
Shush!
What? Yeah, like, he got it from, like, a clock man or something, a watchman? I don't know. He said it was some, like, magic type thing. I don't know.
Then You must be it. You're the key to all
Yeah,
this.
me, Dan Burnley. I'm the key. Little black submarines operating these.
No, you shut up. You don't take a single step. Stay right where you are.
At this point is where Pamela reaches for her cell phone.
And that is when one 10-cent pistol shoots it out of her hand.
And then I did
And that,
Oh, you first. Sorry.
and then I believe J.K. steps out of the room on just their head and goes, "All right, I'm gonna need. Hey, everything going on okay out here? I think I managed to put Valir on the lockdown. I wrapped him with toilet paper.
Oh shit!
The toilet
That's
paper,
right.
the toilet paper is indestructible, so he can't get out. It's just too bad for him. But yeah, it seems to be going pretty good over there. I hope it's going okay out here too.
Is that a pocket dimension?
Kind of. It's kind of like a memory, sort of. It's a pocket dimension memory place.
And
thing.
I think I took the distraction opportunity to do a punch rush and stick her into a wall.
No, I remember.
Yes.
I remember exactly how it was.
Oh, okay.
After you, we continued talking, and I suggested the idea of using. I was asking if you guys saw a hornet's nest anywhere close, because I wanted to torture Valir.
Oh.
But one of you said, torture's not going to work on him. And then I went, drat. So I decided to take a different approach. And I returned to the inside of the pocket dimension. And that's when me and Valir continued to speak.
Yes, as that interrogation continued on, then is when I believe Tyson put her in the wall, so to say.
Yeah, I decreased her density and phased her into there. Non-lethally, I should note.
Is that why she never appeared again in this picture?
No, I mean...
No, that's just an entrapment. It's not a death
It might
trap.
have been lethal to a non-stand user since, stand users have shown displays of resilience against various powers, but in any case, she came back later.
Indeed, after you all eventually got the information and the location of where you needed to go, you all basically booked it out of there.
Before you do that, can I try to reenact the us doing that? Because I remember
That was a really
fun.
good conversation, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I returned to the pocket dimension. Valir is basically wrapped in toilet paper on the ground, not on the ground, on the couch.
Yep, legs and body and arms tied through toilet paper.
And I remember Valir is complaining about something specific. He's complaining, if I recall correctly, he's just trying to wonder what it is that I'm going to do.
Yeah. So, what are you going to try and do, kid, huh? Nothing you're going to do is going to work on me, I can tell you that much.
Well, that's just fine. They got their ways of dealing with the situation, and I got mine. And you and I are just going to talk it out. And,
oh, yeah?
we're just going to have this conversation for a little while longer.
And how do you figure that?
Because I'm going to talk to you, and you don't get a choice.
Alright, fine. But you're not gonna get anything out of me, kid. No. I'm Sophia's loyalist for a reason.
Right. Tell me again how that... But that's something that's been bugging me. Every time I've asked somebody why it is that they feel so compelled to be loyal to Sophia, they've always given me the same answer every single time. She gave me powers. Wouldn't you want to be loyal to someone who gave you powers? And, well, that really doesn't quite explain it. you could feel indebted all you want, but to go around and do her bidding, kidnap, separate families, destroy secure funds, destroy establishments, that kind of loyalty takes more than a gift. That kind of loyalty is systemic. What does she have on you?
Well, if you must know, Sophia actually changed my life around. See, before James broke into my house, basically tied me up and sent me on my way to the cult, let me ask you this, actually. There's a Japanese term that you might be familiar with, a hikikomori. Do you know what that is?
A shut-in, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
How
You
would
see-
he know? He's like 5.
You see,
I'm 16.
one day during, like, I think it was like middle school maybe, me and my buddies, we all got addicted to this little MMO that we all really, really liked and just kept playing on end for the whole summer. Eventually, one morning or one game session after school became playing up until the sun rises. Then it became skipping classes. Then it became skipping everything just to play the damn game. Season after season went on, days upon days upon days, without leaving my room at all. My parents would always just put any sort of meal or drink in front of my door, and I would just get it when they knocked. And I would only leave my room, either if I really needed to go to the bathroom, or if I really needed to get something to eat for myself when they were asleep. But you see, even after all that, for years on end of living that kind of life, funny enough, James doing all that shithead stuff actually changed my life for the better. Especially when I got this power. So yeah, call me a little bit loyal to Sophia for changing my life like that.
Must have been... And I remember this is when JK got the idea. We turned to him and said, even still, must have been a bit of a shock. Must have been a bit of a shock, you know? You having lived so long, unable to get out of your house, and then suddenly getting carted off by these strangers to, like, some far-off place for them to do God knows God knows what or what have you with you. Must have been quite the traumatic experience, I'd imagine.
It definitely wasn't an easy change, for sure, but eventually I managed to turn it all around. All thanks to her.
I mean, even so, can't have been something too familiar. Just when you found yourself in that new place, can you even remember what that was like?
Well, it was someplace I was somewhat familiar with, but all I can really say is I hear it's quite the interesting scene in the summer times.
And with that, in a couple of thinking, he had it. Provincetown. They're taking the kids to Provincetown.
Yes, if I recall correctly, and I'm going to look it up again just in case, but I believe, if I can find the little thing.
I remember it came out a little more naturally, because I remember it was specifically something about like him being taken somewhere far away or unfamiliar or strange.
Like near
And I
an
was trying to get him
island,
to
I
focus.
think.
Yeah, I was trying to get him to focus on the details, like if they carted him on some sort of a van, like if we went by sea, and it was something about the method, just to make sure that I could narrow it down, like where they were going.
Yes, I believe the method of transportation, at least for that, was... It could have been just, like, flying or something like that, but it was from an aerial view that they were somewhere far east in Massachusetts. And considering that Provincetown is a popular vacation destination for the LGBT community, actually... that all sorts of information help you linked that it was indeed Provincetown that Sofia was headed to.
Right. And
then he freaked out because he realized that you had pieced that together.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
After piecing it together, I immediately ran out and told my friends. And just like that, we had booked it. But they wouldn't let us go away without a fight.
You would think a car going 70 miles an hour on a highway would be able to outrun them, but notwithstands.
Not quite. Not quite. Not with the power of Fearless. It seems that Pamela, with Valeera in tow, she managed to catch up to you guys, and that's when you decided you had to pull evasive maneuvers. Specifically, with using Linkin Park's low-density ability to make the car fly.
Well, we thought that would be effective, but that motherfucker has a hell of a grip.
Yes, Pamela threw Valeera at the car, and he actually managed to stick the landing on the first try. And then that is when I believe it was 10 Cent Pistol shot him in the face 3 times, but 4 times, but he absolutely refused to let go. It was like he was not being phased by the torpedoes hitting him directly in the head.
I almost used the nuke option, but
I believe we managed...
Almost.
Yes. Somehow we managed to get through to it. I think Tyson gave me the wheel and went to the back to punch Valeera out.
Yeah, I believe Tyson removed the muffler from the car, and that detachment caused Valeera to fall off the car.
Yeah.
But not before noticing a strange little graffito on the back of Tyson's car.
You mean Hangman?
Yes, it was a crude drawing of the game Hangman, and most of the letters were filled out.
And Dan wanted to finish the letters.
Yes, but unfortunately you did not get a full chance to.
Right.
It seemed like it was saying something like, "Good luck, you're fucked."
Yes. Something to that effect. Who's to say? I'm to say. Anyways.
Did it?
I mean, if that is what's the closest representation of that could be, then yes.
So we kept using various means between 10 Cent Pistol and Linkin Park's coo to just knock him off, but he just kept on coming back and back as Pamela just kept yeeting him up there, and more the graffiti.
Some were more successful than others.
So eventually we had to come up with a secondary plan. Is this a spot for a reenactment, or should we wait until after it's been pulled off?
As far as I can recall.
I say the reenactment will probably be when the exit occurs.
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to roll my 3d20.
If I recall correctly, it was at this point that Alatos had me roll power.
Yes, to see how big of a door you could make with virtual insanity.
We ran the car into a wooded area, looked for a cave, at which point I used virtual insanity to create a garage door on the inside rim of the cave, thereby pushing the car inside and then having us drive to the top of a four-floor parking lot, so that when the car inevitably gets to the end of the track and we get launched out of an elevator door, the car gets pushed out at maximum velocity and flies out into the distance.
And it should be mentioned, the door just barely fit Tyson's car. You had to do a little bit of Linkin Park trickery to get it in there, but you did manage to get the vehicle inside the door. Now I believe is when the reenactment can occur of what exactly your guys' escape plan was.
We had a plan?
You certainly discussed one.
I think Chill's probably is the best memory of this, given it's your character who pulled this off, so you lead.
Of the plan, right. So for the reenactment.
Shit.
All right, I need you to trust me.
Okay, they can't get in here without your permission. But we need to get out eventually. What do we do?
That's okay. This place has 4 floors. We're going to get out at the last floor. When we get to the elevator door, I'll let us out. This should throw us somewhere far enough away from them that we can get back on the road by flying with your car. But we're going to get a significant boost of speed that they'll likely lose track of us.
God, this is the weirdest fucking day of my life, and maybe anyone's life.
That's okay.
Your poor car, dude.
Hey man, don't worry. From what we've been seeing so far, it could easily get weirder.
Yeah, you're probably right, and I don't like that. Anyway, where is this? We have a moment, so what the fuck are we driving into?
This is a parking lot. Well, specifically, this is my mom's workplace parking lot, from what I remember. Or actually, wait. This is the mall's parking lot. I used to go here all the time. I mean, back in the day. I think we were hanging out here for a little while Mom did shopping. We hosted soccer tournaments here. I remember we went here for a game launch. I don't remember too much. It's a bit fuzzy, but we went here a lot. So I guess the memory of the parking lot stuck out. It's pretty big. I remember we'd race as well. Race all the way up to the end of the place, up the ramp, and whoever got there got first picking of where they wanted to go on the mall. I remember Dan used to win a lot.
Archer's Game Shop. Oh, hey, yeah, I did used to win a lot. How do you know?
Ignores that. But yeah, as far as I can, it's okay. We're gonna get to the end, but get ready. We're gonna get to the end in a bit, so you might want to brace, cause when we get to the outside of that door, it's gonna launch us far and fast. So you better hold on to something.
What direction is this going to be going in? Because it could just launch us right in their faces, and
I don't know.
That guy's indestructible, so it might hurt us more than it will him.
Like I said, I don't know. It's all relative to the space of the place. We crossed a pretty big distance to get here, so all I can tell you is that we're going to be far from where we originally entered. Whether or not we'll be close or far from them, that's up in the air.
This is still our best bet.
Let's see. And to sort of lift the veil a little bit, I rolled a percentage die to see where exactly this exit door would open up at. And it landed on, I believe it was a 48%. So I just had them exit out a little bit before they entered the forest, enough for them to sort of get away from Pamela and Valera without getting noticed.
I call that our cheeky Nando.
Indeed. It should also be mentioned, I forgot to say this as well, that you also did get one little piece of information out of Valera as well, and that is the priest for the cult had a cabin in Plymouth.
Right.
It would most likely be at.
Right.
I believe I called this man the second most dangerous priest in this setting.
Indeed.
Little did we know.
Little did we know.
Little did ye know.
Regardless, we ended up finding out about the location of this priest eventually. And
And
in due time,
that's
we would come to meet him.
And that's where you all are going to enter into the actual episode itself. For now, solace is the mission given to the organized. Pick a fucking side, with us or against us. I, the Creator, by Monuments. The year is 2020, where we focus in on eastern Massachusetts. There has been a large increase in random kidnappings that the police, FBI, and CIA have no leads on. However, 3 newly awakened stand users will put themselves to this test to stop the kidnappings from happening further and see what could be the purpose of such a phenomenon. Our heroes are Gamer X as Tyson Reddick.
No more sorrow. I've paid for your mistakes. Your time is borrowed. Your time has come to be replaced. No More Sorrow by Linkin Park.
Korak as Dan Burnley.
We're no strangers to love.
Chills as JK.
Life's not a wheel, with chains made of steel. So bless me come the dawn.
With Alatos as the DM. And all the pieces are falling into place. Welcome to the Tomb of the Red Giant.
Wait, were you saying that I sounded a lot like Rick Astley there? That I would have got us copyright struck?
No, any sort of singing, any sort of karaoke to singing lyrics.
Oh, wow, that's way more brutal than I thought.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
if
it
it's
is.
a cover
Imagine
with
that.
Yeah.
no music?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
So does that mean that you can copyright, every musician can copyright everything since there is a word that's in that song?
Only if it is sung. If it is not sung, then it doesn't count.
It's okay.
Oh.
It's
Shoot.
okay. Replace every instance of Korak talking at the intro with Microsoft Sound.
Now, bleep me out.
We'll be
Oh.
fine.
That would also
no.
be good.
No, I'll just, as long as I keep it below the allotted time limit, it'll be fine.
All right.
Sorry.
But nonetheless, we're back at it once again.
Back at it again with the white van!
Does anyone need a recap of last time, or would anyone like to provide the recap?
I actually forgot. Tell me.
I can do the recap. So we got to a stronghold house in the Boston suburbs where Tomb of the Red Giant was holding out. We did a lot of Looney Tunes shenanigans and almost blew a house up. We got in a fight with the quote-unquote superhero. I don't have the names in my notes, but they were very fearsome foes. We almost were able to talk them down until we realized that turns out that Tyson didn't get his stand from Sofia like everyone else. He got it from a different source, which means that apparently he is the key for whatever the God revival scheme is. And that resulted in a chase.
I'm gonna chase you. I'm going to chase you.
Yeah, so we had to fly away through the sky, but they kept heating themselves up after us to try and bring the storms, because one of them was the guy whose house it originally belonged to before he got kind of cult indoctrinated was, he's causing a bunch of shitloads of tornadoes, apparently. Wasn't exactly clear how, since the fight ended in an escape rather than a actual beatdown of any kind. He seemed basically invincible.
I like how we just sort of assumed that the blonde guy was the one causing the tornadoes because we ran away from that place so fast we never even got to see what his ability did.
Oh my goodness. All will be revealed in due time.
Indeed.
But yes, you went up against one Pamela, and what in the world is the dude's other name? I just put it away.
Not Ivan Mustang.
Yeah, totally not Ivan Must. That was still the funniest part of that whole session. But you went up against Pamela and Valerio.
I'm really sad that I ended up not being able to find the art of Ivan, but I think Korak may have found it.
I did.
Yeah,
I
correct.
posted
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Indeed.
yeah.
Amongst
The other characters.
the other memes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were born in the beams. I lived in it. Please help.
Excellent.
Please help. I was
But yeah, you two just kind of got the information you needed in just dived out of there.
Skedaddled.
Yeah, we're headed down to Province, where the second most dangerous priest in this universe is hanging out.
JK really stretched every facet of how their ability works.
Yep.
It worked.
I forget what I did. I think I just shot people.
You shot a Pamela's cell phone out of her hand.
Oh yeah, there's also so what was on, did we ever figure out what that Sudoku power was?
We did not, because they survived the fight. I don't think Alathus is going to tell us because it might become relevant again.
It might. Who's to say? I'm to say.
We might have to go through the Kirby Superstar Ultra arena mode where we fight all of the old bosses.
There's a good amount of villains whose stand powers we never discovered because we beat them up too fast.
Well, we still have the box, don't we?
We do.
You still have
do.
LA Plus in your possession. Oh my goodness. But to also recap on a couple of other important points. While yes, you were told that Sofia was in Provincetown, you were also told the location of the priest's cabin, which is in Plymouth.
Oh.
Plymouth, Pennsylvania.
Plymouth, Massachusetts.
I know.
Almost. But yes.
Let me go check the map to see where that is in relation to each other. Is one on the way?
Plymouth would be on the way.
Yeah, we're trying to get to Provincetown.
Which there is only... I think there's only one way to get to Provincetown by car, so...
Fuck it, let's take a boat and go there.
I mean, we fucking established I can make the car fly, basically.
You can also make the car fly, this is correct.
Or we could take a boat.
I don't remember the soundtrack of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, otherwise I would be singing that, but that would get us copyright struck, so never mind. Nope, that's not it. It was like a classic 60s musical movie involving one of the most fucked up villains ever, a serial child abductor. That movie that movie was really fucked up.
I love Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I haven't seen it yet.
I think that's also the villain of the first Dirty Harry movie, but whatever.
We roll.
Taken. Speaking of Taken.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Yeah. Once we get far enough on the highway, I just start swearing to myself, fuck, what do they mean I'm the fucking key to all of this? How does that make any goddamn sense?
Well, you did mention that you got your power from a different source than the rest of us. Maybe that's the one they were trying to find.
Why would that matter? And also, how the hell does Linkin Park help with... Like, I've broken shitloads of concrete and stuff with this. It's like a weapon of mass destruction. It's like a ghost Superman. But how does that relate to reviving a dead god?
Well, I don't know,
man. Think about it. What if the god needs to either be more dense to take its form?
Damn it! Maybe if I had gone into physics after all, I would.
Well, actually, no. There's a couple of things. What if the god is an actual person, and that was the old stand of that god? Maybe it's like a mummy situation. You know what I mean?
I did establish that Linkin Park does look very cosmic and spiritual and weird.
You did?
Maybe it's like a space pharaoh? I don't know.
Wrong part of the world for that, I think.
I said space. You never, you don't know. Right?
I really wish I had paid more attention. Maybe then I would have gotten into physics after all and never gotten involved with this shit show.
Wow, I see how it is. Fam.
I mean, hey, man. I know it's kind of rich coming from me, but as far as I'm concerned, you're never too old to do what you enjoy.
That's a lie. You're always too old.
That's not what I meant. I don't want the fate of the world riding on me.
What about us? You think I wanted to be away from my field trip?
Bless you, I guess.
24 hours since the start of the campaign.
Wait, you're right. It's only been 20. Yeah, you see, I missed my field trip, my dude.
Well,
They probably worried sick about me.
It's been a bit of a roundabout path. I'm just
Got to no one noticing that he's gone.
I've been more or less. I've mostly been concerned with what we're going to be doing after this whole thing is over.
First, I'm dropping you two off.
Just randomly somewhere else.
Well, okay. Your brother, you guys have a home. You can go back to there, and I'm sure that you can go back to your field trip or whatever.
Well, I don't really have
it's a one-day field trip.
Well, I don't really have a home anymore. I left there for a reason. I guess I should tell you. My mom passed away. It happened a couple of years ago while I was still outside. I was making regular trips to her place, and she was getting way sicker than usual. I just really didn't have the condition to help her get better. I didn't really have the money for medicine. I didn't really have the know-how to help her get any better. And in due time, she was way too sick. She's the one who entrusted me with this sort of search and rescue thing. And that's why I decided to keep out, but
Before we could worry about the future, we have to deal with the red giant fuckers.
I guess that's true. That's what you would have wanted.
All right.
I'll get
So
Dan
where are
back.
you heading to?
All right, so
We need to complete all the side quests before facing the final boss. I'm sure the second we roll into Province, there'll be a pop-up saying, "This is the point of no return."
fuck that. Straight to Plymouth.
Yeah, Plymouth.
We're going straight to Plymouth. Okay.
That's the Theo's like weekend house or whatever.
Yep.
Theodoro.
We are going straight to Plymouth. Fortunately, it does not take you too long to find that there appears to be only one sort of cabin area in Plymouth. But after some time, you are able to find sort of the cabin area that is within Plymouth. I'm trying to think. And then I'll say... Actually, hold on. Yeah, that's how we'll do it. And then I will say that one of the cabins in particular does have Theo's name on it as a sort of thing on the mailbox for the cabin.
Ah. Well, I didn't know that you just wrote your name on your house like that. I just sort of assumed this would be a harder thing to do.
Walk through the wall.
You're going to walk through the wall? Hold on.
Hey.
Is that your plan of attack, Tyson?
Hey, wait. Hold on. Are we really just going to use the same thing where we've been doing all this time?
Blazing through this.
Remember. These guys are after you. They know. Well, I guess they wouldn't really know that you're the key at this rate. We stole the informant's phones.
Yeah, but Pauline or whatever her name was Pauline could like run crazy fast, so she might just manually be booking it.
It's true. We don't know how much time we've got or how much time we've bought. But one thing's for certain. These guys are getting slowly smarter and smarter in relation to what we can and can't do.
Yeah, they kind of are. It's kind of... Huh. Wait
So
a
it might
second.
be difficult to... So it might be difficult to actually just walk in with what we already have and just try the same things.
Maybe, but, like, you never know.
You might need to plan something out, like a different strategy of some kind.
Maybe one of you should go in first.
I guess so. Let me see. Let me see if there's any windows in the house I can look at. I can look
There's
through.
a few windows.
All right. I conspicuously like sort of huddle around trying to look through them without calling attention to my big hat with giant horns on it.
Well, thankfully that seems to be easy because for one of the side rooms that you're able to peek through in sort of the back of the cabin area, you're able to see a kitchen. Seems to have a giant table with a bunch of chairs around it, some utensils, some cabinets as well, and a couple of cooking utilities as well. It seems to be completely isolated from the rest of the cabin, meaning there is there's enough privacy for you to basically get in there if you wanted to. As you do not see Theo at all.
Well, I can't really see him from this position. He may be hanging around somewhere where there aren't any windows for us to look through. I do see a vacant kitchen. Might be our best bet to get in and just sort of circle around. The emptiness of this house concerns me, though. Whoever this Theo guy is, he's real hype on the order of... he's real high up on the pecking order, so... It's safe to assume they can trust him to handle himself by himself. He might be in for a rough fight. If it comes to that. All right. So, how do we want to do this? We just walk through? We just break the window? Or do you want to try your strategy?
I leave that up to you, lads.
Do you want to try your regular old strategy?
You might be right. If we just go in guns blazing, they might be ready for that, and I don't know how they're stand primed and ready to go. We have no idea what his or hers do. I mean, I guess from your description, the snake has some kind of dream magic.
I don't think Sofia is here.
No, but we have no idea. If he's second in command, then he's nothing to fuck with.
Yeah. That would be difficult. Although I guess... Actually, now that I think about it, why are we here?
Information?
What information? We know where they go. We know where they're going. We can intercept them immediately. What are we doing here?
It's on the way, and who knows? Maybe he has some kind of intel that could give us an edge, like in his desk or something.
I guess. Kind of feels like a weird, unnecessary detour.
We're burning time.
I guess we are. Though I think that might be bad. Regardless, I mean, if you want... Well, it's up to you. If you want to go in, I'll follow you.
Dan?
I can provide some defense against whatever attacks he's got going on. If you just retreat into my room.
What do you think? Should we kick the door down like usual?
Give me a second. I'm gonna use Sergeant Radiohead to take a quick look inside.
Okay. I'll say with Lieutenant
Sergeant.
Yeah.
It's Sergeant Radiohead.
Yes, apologies.
Sergeant.
Excuse
me.
Radiohead.
Unless you want me to
Gotta
upgrade
give
my
him the
stand
proper
ability.
rank he deserves. Oh,
I will upgrade their ranks.
Sergeant Radiohead. You're able to find you're able to find that one of the upper windows is sort of open, or at least slightly open. So you're able to sneak Sergeant Radiohead through.
Okay.
As you roam around the house, the first room that you're in upon entering this cabin appears to be the bedroom.
Kinky.
Not really, actually. It is quite a bland bedroom. It has the actual bed itself. It has the window. It has a nightstand. That's it.
Okay. What is in the nightstand?
Let's see. You can't necessarily get into the nightstand with Sergeant Radiohead anyway. But how do I phrase this? From what you're just generally able to pick up on comms and whatnot, there's not really much going on in this room.
Alrighty, I'm gonna have Sergeant Radiohead sneak through a bit more.
Okay. Eventually you make it to the downstairs area where you hear a noise going on. It appears to be a TV show of some kind playing in the background.
Do I recognize the TV show?
You do not, as the particular audio for this appears to be more of a lower bit rate, so it's probably of an older TV show beyond your time.
Okay.
I have the audio for that TV show recorded. Let me go.
Where it is to a position.
Okay. So there's somebody inside, I think. At least they're watching TV.
How will you lads proceed?
I'm going to use Linkin Park New Divide to drift up towards the roof again and look in through that. They didn't seem to... They seemed unprepared for the roof entry plan the last two times we've done this in the previous few
Well, I don't know about
fights.
that, man. I mean, think about it. The window's completely open. This seems like it's a trap.
On the other hand, if he is here, then we could take out the second in command right now.
I mean, not wrong, but you're not that right either.
Second idea, what if we cause a distraction outside?
Sure, this is an orphanage, right?
I don't
What?
know if that would work. I think this guy's... Wait,
Wait, is this a church, if I remember correctly? No.
No, this is a
Just
cabin.
Okay,
Yes.
never mind then.
I
This
think
is just a cabin.
I think this dude might be further in. Like, further enough that he wouldn't notice a commotion happening outside his own house. He might be doing something down there.
Is there a fire alarm anywhere in the house?
I think our best bet is...
From what you can tell, at least from your own quick observation and Sergeant Radiohead's feed, there does not appear to be any sort of fire alarm.
Well, that's just unsafe.
Indeed.
Are there any other suspicious absences in this house? Like, perhaps no electrical wiring or anything, or...
No, there does appear to be some electrical wires heading to the to this cabin.
You guys really just want to blow up a house, huh?
Yeah, we didn't get to last time because they were sympathetic villains, but this is the second in command, so...
Hey. I never said I want to blow this up.
I do.
What is with you?
Should I call the police?
You've become... Tyson, you are becoming exceedingly violent all of a sudden.
I'm under a lot of stress right now.
Regardless of how much stress, we don't just go around blowing random people's houses up for no reason.
Dude, we have to think of...
This isn't a random person.
No, Tyson. You're thinking a little too big for this. We need to put a bunch of CO2 in there.
Oh,
no bang equals no police.
Where do we even find a bunch of CO2?
The basement.
At this hour?
The basement.
I don't know if this place has a basement. It's a little cabin in the woods.
I'm gonna have Sergeant Radiohead continue to explore a bit.
Okay. Eventually, you round a corner and find the what appears to be the living room area, as well as sort of the area you would first just sort of walk into from the front door. There is a larger sort of three-person couch with two one-person couches to both the left and the right of it. In front of all these chairs and couches is a TV that appears to be playing a very old soap opera.
Days of Our Lives?
You would not know for sure. But there is someone on the three-person couch. An older gentleman, and let me get that.
Okay, so stand user.
An older gentleman.
Off-key version of Poochie's theme.
Older gentleman, roughly, you think he might be in his early to mid-70s. From what you can tell, at least from your immediate position, this man has not been sleeping well at all. He appears to be quite sleep-deprived. And, as well as just malnourished in general.
Huh.
That is all you can tell from your immediate position.
I would like to see if there's... I don't know what's the best thing to do here.
Either do I. I really hate to use the cliche, but it's too quiet.
I mean, he's watching a soap opera in there. Question: does that man look like the person that we were told about?
From some of the descriptions you've heard, it's possible. You can't hard confirm it, but it might be.
Like, I wasn't expecting to just hard confirm,
Right.
but...
I will say as well, I'll give you this little tidbit as well. From Sergeant Radio's head's feed, you can detect something in the right corner. It's very faint on the visuals,
Okay.
but you can see it. It appears in the corner to your right, appears to be a very tall hooded figure with two pairs of black wings.
Oh. Oh, fuck.
Okay.
The hands of this figure appear to be folded over each other and sort of hidden in its own garbs. But that's all you can really kind of tell.
I'm certain that's a stand, then.
Gonna go on a limb here and say that it's Megadeth?
I shall not confirm or deny anything at this point in time.
Fair.
Alright.
Let's see. What's the best thing first?
So it's just sitting there, right?
Menacingly.
Mm-hmm. It's not doing anything.
Is it another automatic?
Question, is he near the doorway?
He's kind of near the door to the kitchen, but not too terribly close to the front door.
JK? I have an idea that might not work. We try to say that we're selling something to him for our school... for a school trip.
He'll probably recognize you on sight.
Yeah, we're pretty well known at this point. It's been a while.
It's been a very productive day.
A lot happened in a day.
I mean... Fine.
I mean, look, I kinda just... We have a safe haven. We have the ability to just sort of escape whenever we need to. If you want, we can always just sort of cause a commotion and just sort of strike while the iron's hot.
I mean, I feel kind of bad because we don't know this person. Like, we don't know if this is the actual person yet.
I mean, they have their name in front of the mailbox, like a psychopath.
What is the name on the mailbox?
Theo Sanctus.
The dude's surname is the dude's surname is Sanctus. I think we got the right one.
I think that's the final boss of DMC4.
That's funny.
You know what? You might be right. Oh no.
We need to go in there.
Should I just plunge in from the ceiling and start wailing?
I don't know about that.
If he just has his stand out, maybe that would be a better target too, to make sure the user is kind of left high and dry.
Yeah.
Alright, if everyone's alright with that, I am going to just levitate down from the ceiling and start auraing his mystery stand.
I'm gonna stay in the back.
All right. Is that what you're going to
Have
attempt?
Sergeant Radiohead just observe.
And I'm going to be using this through New Divide as well, too.
All right.
Like, as I am physically staying up on the roof, Linkin Park's limbs are coo, 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 coo.
I will ask for a precision check on this.
Precision? Okay, well, at least I get
Yep.
the +3 from the technique then.
From the technique, you do. Let's see what
This is
you...
2d20, drop the highest.
16 plus 3, that is a 19.
Oh, well, drop the highest, so...
Oh,
13.
drop the highest. That's still a 13. Let me double check. I believe that's a moderate success. It
Okay.
should be. If I had my drive thing up. For
Wait,
the
you have
roll.
momentum dice?
No, Tyson used a technique.
Yeah, New Divide.
Ah, okay.
Yes, moderate success. So yes. So you are able to accurately, with your technique, New Divide, able to phase through the ceiling and get right on top of the stand. And you're just going to just do a surprise whale attack on it.
Surprise punch rush.
All right. Let's see. With your thing, and since this thing isn't gonna be doing that, what is your thing again? It's that, and then I know yours is that. So you'll be taking that much. Okay. So, bop.
He's the second in command. I'm sure he has an absolutely fucking bullshit power like Cream or Green Day
Oh, goodness.
or fucking Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, goodness sakes alive.
Watch the person watching TV be the stand.
So you hit this thing against the wall a few times and are just sort of drilling it into this corner. When you hear the old man sort of from the chair grunting and you hear him yell out, "Wait, wait! Hold up!" Are you going to stop, Tyson?
For one moment, yeah.
Thank you. You know, despite... damn. Despite that hit you gave me, I'm still willing to just sit down and talk about all this. We don't have to go through this nonsensical fencing tournament of ours.
You took my kids.
And I'm willing to help you get them back.
What?
A lot easier to talk than to just go in punching, isn't it, son?
You're the second in command. Why the fuck would you be willing to go against your boss?
Don't get me wrong. I believe in Sofia's mission entirely. But I'm afraid what was starting out as a very optimistic operation has turned something much darker than even I had anticipated.
Having a crisis of faith against her god?
I already had one of those before. No. This is more of... How can I put this? This is more of a lamb losing her way.
Yo, Tyson, can we come in?
Yeah.
Did you get him?
You do not have Radiohead in there, right? I can tell.
We're parlay, apparently.
Well, you won't tell me if he got him or not, so I have to ask. Thanks, Dan.
Dan is just gonna sit there and just. Dan is gonna grab.
We're just gonna go in. I'm gonna drag Dan in.
No.
I'm gonna drag Dan inside.
At this point, I'm going to bring you all over to here.
This is a pretty nice cabin.
It is.
It's a very ominous cabin.
Yeah, this suspicious trapdoor to the basement. So, I'm assuming this is a stand that I punched out. Did it show any reaction?
It did show reaction, yes.
Okay, so it's not an automatic, maybe. Although it is hard to tell. A certain incredibly potent stand in Part 8 was automatic, but it also seemed to break a lot of rules there, too.
No, it certainly did. Anyways. Oh. So what are you going to do? Specifically, I guess JK and Dan, JK and Dan. Are you just going to walk through the front door?
I'm going to knock on the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Can we come in?
Theo brushes himself off, walks over to the front door and opens it. And sort of gestures you to come inside.
I will come in.
Okay. JK, will you do the same?
We're going in, yeah. I was sure I pressed the button to turn the microphone back on, but yeah, we're going in.
All right. You all gather in. And I presume you're going to be surrounding Theo.
I mean, I'm not gonna surround him.
I mean, I'm not trying to intimidate the guy. I mean,
did he go back to take a seat?
Yeah, he went back to his previous
I'm
seat.
going to stand by
this
the
is
chair.
this is still JoJo's. Even though I punched several gallons of blood out of him, he'll be fine.
pretty big house for just one guy.
I've lived a very long life.
How old are you, if I may ask?
I'm about 74 years old.
So, you said you wanted to talk this out?
That's what I would like to do, yes. If it's all the same to
We're all
you
ears.
three.
Just one question first.
Of course.
You know what our stands do, probably.
I know the majority. I'm sure you three at least have a trick or two up your sleeves, but for the most part, yes, I know what your stands do.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yours, out of curiosity?
I might as well, I suppose. My stand, its name is Wishing Well.
Okay.
Those caught within Wishing Well's range, should I activate the power, it would create an absolute silence in its range. Along with this silence, it would take away a random part of your senses, whether that would be touch, smell, taste, feel, yes, even hearing again. But
Out of character. Yeah, that's absolutely a stand for a second in command.
along with this, from what I've heard, apparently in the range of this as well, the stand wishing well gives people a sort of desire to give up hope. Sort of apathy, right? A sort of apathy effect, if you would.
That sounds very overpowered.
I'm aware it is quite strong.
Back to you personally, though. You mentioned that she lost her way.
Yes, I'm afraid she has.
Don't lose your...
I'm assuming child abduction finally weighed too much on you.
All those bodies in the basement were too much for me. Wasn't just a one or two mistakes. Soon became piles and pyres and pyres of bodies. It's too much for me. I can't anymore. Not like this. There's a darkness in her. One that wasn't there before. But now it's overtaken her. And I'm afraid of what she might do next.
Is that just her, like, own personal darkness, or is she being possessed by whatever the hell she's trying to summon?
No, it's nothing sort of that. It's a personal darkness. It's a darkness of the mind.
Yes, malignant narcissism. I've dealt with that in my workplace.
I'm sure things will become more clearer of what I'm talking about in time, when you meet her.
So, the bodies in the basement.
Not in my cabin,
Oh,
no.
okay. All right.
No,
Screw the bodies in the basement. I want to hear about this god everyone's talking about.
Yeah, that was my other question.
oh yes. I suppose this was going to come around eventually.
I mean, yeah.
Yes. You see, this god is from a very, very ancient religion. From what we know now as the Aztec or Mayan pantheon, this was a god relatively from that sort of area. Although, more of a... Darn it, what in the world is that? What in the world is the...
Aztec?
No. A different denomination, I suppose would be the best word. for
Deity?
it. Eventually came to recognize this being as a god. They named it Cars.
Like that guy who was chasing us?
Very similar name, actually almost the exact same name, but no, Cars Mosen was the first one to be experimented on by Sofia.
Huh.
Whereas the god, Cars, is sitting comfortably on Mars at the moment.
Cars on Mars? Are you sure that's not like a nursery rhyme or something?
I'm sure it is.
This sounds a lot like Scientology, but real.
This is becoming exceedingly stupid, exceedingly fast.
I was extremely skeptical of this myself, I assure you. But after doing my own independent research, along with doing a co-opted research with Sofia, I cannot deny it.
You can't deny this feeling anymore?
And I can't deny that this god exists, and that it's waiting. Whether for Sofia or for someone else, I do not know.
So is that why they need... So can you tell me why they need a Linkin Park over there?
Fuck!
He looks over to Tyson. Yes, you've been quite a subject of interest as of recently.
I was gonna say, if they would have known.
Maybe at the top they would have, yeah.
So, your stand wasn't given to you by Sofia, but through something else.
Guess we're putting all our cards on the table, then yeah, I may as well come clean with that. I had a dream of a man in a clock shop.
Did you recognize, and was there anything written down? Was there any sort of details that you could give, either of this clock shop or just anything else?
Oh, I dreamed a giant snake came through the window and ate him.
And this man, what did he look like?
What did he look like?
Are you asking in character or out of character?
Out of character.
Give me one.
It was
second.
Joseph Joestar.
I have not.
Didn't you
quite.
say he looked like a clock man?
It looks like an older male figure, probably older than Theo himself here, in a even older tuxedo.
Old dude in a tux.
In a clockmaking shop, you said?
Yeah, but time. I don't think the clocks have anything to do with it. I don't think stands can fuck with time. Cue studio audience laugh track.
One.
Stands are capable of quite a many interesting things, but no. Tell me, son, what do you know about your family history? What do the kids call it nowadays? Your ancestry, your genealogy?
Well,
Do you know anything about it?
think that my parents, well, grandparents, they came in from Germany to escape. In hindsight, a really good move to leave when they did.
Indeed. Fascinating.
Now, if you mean my partner in terms of kids stuff, then I think that their family came in from Thailand a generation ago.
I see. Well, either way. My hunch may be correct then, though. That does put a couple of things into question, but I suppose I'll figure that out. Nonetheless, what the important detail here is that, well, if what you're telling me is correct, your stand was not given to you through an artifact or even from Sofia, but it was actually inherited.
That's a thing that can happen? This shit's genetic?
Supposedly there's been only one other such case, but Sofia has more of an idea on those documents than I do. But yes, these things can appear genetically, but you are the second case that I'm aware of. Either way, the first, again, I don't know the specifics, only Sofia would know that. But either way, similar to how there are more dominant genes and recessive genes whenever our parents come into union and conceive our bodies, some genes don't even activate until later on in life. And it seems that stands are the same way.
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I
That's
didn't know I
fine.
was gonna be pulling that.
Ah, you silly sausage.
My child, are you familiar with Big Chungus?
Big Chungus.
But it appears that whatever the stand it was originally, or who your original ancestor who had the stand was, this stand is a completely different form from what it was.
Right, but what does this matter? Where are you going with this?
If my theory is correct, then this could be interesting. So, from what I'm aware of Sophia's stand, it's obviously able to give people stands if they survive the trial.
It's got some kind of dream shit going on, too. I'm assuming that I wasn't...
The trial of the silver monkey.
I'm assuming that I was not imagining it bursting in through the windows and killing my relative.
No, that part was very much real. At least in the for layman's terms, for easy remembering sake, we'll call it the dreamscape. But yes, those events did actually occur within the dreamscape. Sophia did manage to enter that dream of yours and seemingly kill your relative, but not before you managed to get a hold of your stand. And that means, considering Sophia's ability, she might be able to unlock the powers of that stand from previous ancestors.
I actually think I might know where you're going with this. Am I secretly a Zappelli?
I will not confirm or deny anything as of right now.
Oh no, that means I'm gonna die!
No, you're a main character. You'll live.
Sorry, Tyson. We have to crucify you for the plan to work.
Oh,
Tyson!
oh my goodness. I believe that is what Sophia might try to do.
Sophia is going to crucify Tyson?
No.
Well...
Oh.
The snack that smiles back, Tyson.
Oh.
God! So... what is she gonna do? Is she just going to keep on farming kids until she gets what she needs, or is she just using them as a trap for us?
No,
I'm guessing a trap for us, honestly.
I believe we're way past that point. No. What she intends to do is to convince you, Tyson, in order to get your kids back, to help her revive this dead god. She will trade your service of your stand for you receiving your kids back safely. Not only your children, but JK's brother and Dan's girlfriend.
Wait,
I'm
which
guessing.
one?
He rolls his eyes a little.
I don't know if this is a poly thing or if you're a cheating bastard.
Well, I mean, they kept on disappearing on me and not telling me where they're going, so...
I don't think that counts as either, then. That's a new, exciting kind of relationship.
I feel like we're getting off topic again.
We are.
Regardless, we know where they're headed. We are trying to intercept them on the road, and we only have a couple days left for. We only have so much time left before they're off our reach permanently.
And I'm guessing that if this god is brought to Earth, we'd all be fucked.
If what Sophia says is true, quite the opposite.
What do you mean by that?
This god may bring a whole new order to things. Bring a new world of peace to everyone here on
I don't
Earth.
trust them.
Oh, well,
That is fine if you don't. I'm just explaining from the research that, again, I independently have done, as well as co-opted with Sophia.
That's some weird research. Would you go to Mars and be like, oh, this guy's cool. Let's let him in.
Maybe for all we know, maybe she could have if she found, like, the god dream up there. By the way, did you mention the name of her ability?
Oh yes, her stand. Unfortunately, I am unaware of the name of this stand.
Question, would you be willing to help us fight against her?
I'm not
Okay.
going to fight Sophia.
Yeah, it sounds like she may have a kill switch embedded in there or something, like inside your psyche.
All right.
Something like that, yes.
Well, there is one thing I actually thought about that you might be able to help us with.
And what might that be?
You see, Provincetown is really far from here. It's a whole big circle.
There actually is one other thing that I just thought of, but you first.
All right. We just sort of need to circle a big mass of land, and we're kind of, we're far behind on them. So despite the fact that this is a travel bus that they're on, we probably wouldn't have much of a shot at intercepting the bus on the way there, unless. And then I pick up the map, and then I trace a straight line from here to Provincetown through sea. Unless we do this.
Quite a daring move, I suppose, but by the time, let's see, if you went from that or if you went from there, you would be able to just catch Sophia as she arrives in Provincetown.
Last question. The box.
Yes. The box? He raises an eyebrow.
Oh, yeah.
I pick up the box.
We kind
I
of
pull
knocked
out the
out,
box.
what's his name?
Epsilon.
Yeah, Epsilon.
Dear Epsilon.
Yeah, I kind of hit him in the head once.
Yeah, I actually don't think anyone died over the last 24 hours except for Disco Dan.
Yes, as far as I'm aware, most of the other cult members, aside from Mr. Rogers, that everyone seems to have abandoned ship. Although it appears Holly and James are in jail.
Hey, they were doing actual crimes, though.
James, certainly. Holly, no. The poor dear's just lost, like the rest of us. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose.
So, what's our best course of action? Or what would you say our best course of action is?
Well, that depends on a few things. See, it's not just me that's left. You appear... There's still two people that Sophia stationed somewhere else right before Provincetown. The Benjamin kids.
Okay.
If you wish to fight them, then traveling through car on the highways, you're more than likely to encounter them there.
What if we don't want to fight?
If you don't wish to fight, then, as I see, if you choose to do this interesting little maneuver, then you would be able to catch Sophia right as she gets into Provincetown. She wouldn't have any prep time.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever it is
that's
she
what I
plans
mean.
to do.
That's what
That
I mean.
sounds like our best bet.
We were looking for a boat. Something small and fast that can get us there in time.
If you're looking for me to have some sort of speedboat, I'm afraid you're talking to the wrong person.
I figured out how to make the car fly a half hour ago. I think we're set.
You figured out how to do what?
You do remember the chase with where they kept trying to fling themselves into the sky?
With Pamela and Fabiola.
I just thought that we ramped up off the. I just thought we were just using virtual insanity's jettison effect to catapult the car out of the thing.
That was the second time. The on the initial car chase, Tyson used Linkin Park to make the car
Lighter than air.
Low density.
That's true, although if you made the car too lighter than air, then how the heck would the car move forward?
Momentum.
Yes.
Momentum only carries you for so long, with gravity.
What if we were defying gravity?
Just you and I. Defying gravity, and you can't hold me down.
I think
my goodness.
I think finding a boat would be a more reliable idea, personally.
What if we use the car as a boat?
That might work. I hate that I have to say that, but it might work.
Hey, listen. What do you mean you hate saying
You just
that?
have to make it lighter than water.
Yeah.
No, you have to make the water dense enough to serve as road.
I mean, both ways work.
So I'm gonna turn my car into fucking Knight Rider at this rate. Alright, before we leave this guy, we should probably show him the box and see if he knows how to find Gwyneth Paltrow's head inside.
Oh no. But I'm imagining you're just showing Theo the box.
If you guys are alright with it, then yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. You all show Theo the box, aka LA+. Oh yes, this little trinket. I remember me and Epsilon talking on hours about this thing. What do you possibly need with this?
What is it?
Give us.
Well, the box contains the power of the stand, LA+.
What is LA+?
LA Plus is a box of infinite energy.
That seems
Vague.
crazy.
It does indeed seem crazy, but I assure you it's what it is.
Sure, I already posted this bit.
Although, there's only one way to open this kind of box. You can't brute force it, you can't blow it up or anything, no. There's a particular way to open it, and only one way it will allow. And that is through meditation.
Huh. Okay, let me try at it.
Okay.
I am not in the right headspace to give that a shot.
That you're gonna
I am
just
full
eat that.
Liam Neeson.
Alright, so you're just gonna try this out, Dan?
Yeah, Dan is going to.
Let me look at the thing for LA Plus real quick again. Alright, so I'm imagining you're just going to be sitting down with the box, probably in like your hand or your lap or something.
Yeah, and breathing slowly.
Alright. It takes you quite some time, but eventually, as you breathe in and breathe out, you can feel the box in your hands slowly starting to loosen on the lock, inch by inch, until eventually something both inside you and the box suddenly unlocks. In your body, you can feel what appears to be an abundance of golden energy just running through your body.
Golden experience. Requiem.
Now that's next episode.
Oh, true.
But yes, as the box is open, and you all can see the box is opened as well at this point.
Shit.
And see the golden white energy, being shot out of this box.
Okay, that's probably the edge we're gonna need. Nice work, kid.
And I imagine you're going to close the box, Dan?
No.
No? Okay.
Box stays open.
I'll close the box.
I grab his hand. No.
Shut the fuck up. You know you
Box
don't.
stay open.
All right, I'm going to need a contest from both of you if you're going to do this. I'm going to say... I'll take a power from both of you, and since it's going to be you doing it and not the stand, then I will need you to roll Ds. Unless you want to use LA+, Korak.
What does LA Plus do?
Well, you know those plasma humanoids you did from the LA+ fight?
Yeah.
You think you could make up to 9 of those at an instant if you wanted to.
Ooh. Oh, that's gonna be real useful.
Yeah, it sounds
That
real
is-
useful, which is why we should
What?
save it for later.
That is if you're wanting to use it, or just use your own D stat, Dan. What are you gonna do to... Okay.
10.
10 and an 8. So unfortunately... Actually, no. Isn't that 2 moderate failures? Hold on. Yes, that's 2 moderate failures, so nothing happens.
I ain't gonna lean over, close the damn box. We need to save all the infinite energy. Actually, wait a minute. We should save it for later.
We should save the infinite energy we don't understand for later where we can understand it.
Maybe it's finite. Who knows?
Maybe it secretly eats your soul if you use it. Who knows? We don't.
I will close the box.
All right. We're just going to leave then.
All right.
I apologize for punching you if you left the cult.
At this point, I don't know. I was excommunicated from the church for blasphemy and heresy after realizing a certain truth.
And what truth is that?
That, should there be a God, there is certainly not just one God in this world of ours. And the things I was shown on that one night, well, at this point, I don't know what kind of gods there could be anymore.
Out of character, I believe that was what the Torah and other ancient texts mentioned back in the day, before old Semitic texts got mistranslated over and over and over and over and over and over thousands of years across languages again. And
Ain't
here
that
we
Grant?
yeah.
Oh, yes. And one more thing. If you may hear the pleas of an old man, if you do come to fight with Sophia, I ask you go easy on her, for the sole reason is of that darkness within her. That darkness does not spread to others from within her. It hurts her just as much.
All right. So here's another question. How do we stop the god from being revived for good?
Well, considering your friend Tyson here is the key, whatever power is supposed to be, if the theory is correct, and she is able to unlock the powers from your previous ancestors through your stand, then don't use the power. That's the power of that stand's ancestry is the key.
Huh.
Right.
That's the only lead she has.
All right. So we gotta find a way to get rid of Tyson's power.
I don't think that's the answer they were talking
I
about.
actually have an idea. I'm starting to get a plan, and it revolves around this. I say, pointing at LA+.
What
if we
about my
send-
newfound power and enlightenment?
What if we send your newfound power and enlightenment to kick the door down and get all the captives out so she doesn't have any leverage while we're confronting her?
So what if, instead, we do just that?
Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, goodness sakes.
What's wrong? This is Dan Burnley, enlightened.
Goodness sakes alive.
The delivery
I would
of
like
that
to
was-
use the zoom punch.
Sendo Hamon Overdrive.
Sunlight yellow. Overdrive!
What in the world are you guys, excuse me, going to do?
I think that's that dialogue tree, so to speak, exhausted, so we're just...
Dan
I d-
will hold, or will give the box over to...
Are you gonna give it back to JK?
No, I'm gonna give it to Tyson. Yeah, man, who knew enlightenment was that stupidly strong?
I give it back to you. If enlightenment is the key to open this, I am not the right person. You got
Nah,
it open
dude, you
once,
have
you can
to-
do it again.
You have to focus, as my grandpa said. You gotta breathe, that's the power of homans.
Okay, then give it to JK then. I am not the person
you
to
need
do
to learn
this
how
with.
to use homan. Like my
No,
grandfather.
no,
like my
I'm good, I'm good.
great-great-grandfather.
Okay, I have no idea what ham is.
No, ho, man. You know, he was a hoe, I guess, and a man. Wouldn't that make him a gigolo?
Sure, whatever. Anyway, someone else in the box.
He said it's all about
Okay.
breathing.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right. All right. Goodness sakes, JK has acquired LA+.
All right, I got it.
Oh, goodness.
What if you could fucking combo that with your new virtual insanity too?
That'd be funny.
Does everybody have a stand that is awakened besides I? The Burnleyest.
I'm going to... Goodness sakes.
You're slowly drifting into a Chalmers impression. You're gonna go into steamed hams.
Steam times, you say?
I'm thinking deeply. Hold on.
In
think-
character or out of character?
Both. I'm just sort of thinking. The box is indestructible. Regardless of where you end up when you exit the room. When I exit the room, you end up on the outside of the room instantly as well. How do I trap people inside a tiny wooden box?
Oh, goodness.
Don't you dare do that to my box.
Well, it's a good thing you have developmental points to spend.
I don't know if I want to use it on that specifically.
Still need to get -3 momentum and use it on a venture.
That's true. In any case, I think our plan is set.
All right, let's go find a boat.
Yeah. Or let's
just use
make
the
our
car.
Or we could use the car boat.
You mean the houseboat?
Yeah.
The car house horse boat?
I still don't know if that actually would work.
I don't know. Hey, can you
I'm gonna-
use Linkin Park? Use Linkin Park for a second to make your car fly or float.
All right, I do that.
Does it
Okay. The car slowly lifts up once it reaches a certain point of
Now,
density.
I am going to press my foot on the gas pedal. Does it move?
Considering you sort of did it while it was standing still, it moves like maybe an inch or two.
Wait. Use your stand to fire and have the momentum propel us.
That sounds stupid.
It might work.
Dan just looks at you and thinks, that was my plan all along. I just had to say it looks stupid because I knew you weren't going to say it. or something was going to say to him. He's like, okay, I am going to switch over to 10-cent pistol and fire a missile.
I'll say you, since this isn't an active combat thing, I'll say you're able to hit it, and when you do hit the bumper of this car, you're able to send it forward.
Oh, no, I was planning on being in the car and shooting it backwards to use the momentum from firing it to propel.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
Let me think. I'll say this much, actually. So you're able to put 10-cent pistol on, like, the back of the car, and when you fire the opposite direction, the recoil and pressure from 10-cent firing it hits the back of the car and moves it forward.
Okay. Hey, I think this might work. How far did it move?
Not a huge amount, but you still think you would be able to make it to Provincetown in a good amount of time.
Do I feel exhausted after firing it off? Or do I feel like that took any energy to do?
Like, maybe the most tiny amount of energy.
Hey, Jake, can I borrow the box for a second? Can I borrow LA Plus for a second?
Are you going to have the energy go slow?
What do you mean?
He's gonna put him out through the car windows and have him roll like a rowboat.
I was going to use both stands at once.
Oh, goodness.
That also works.
Or use the infinite power to power up LA Plus to power up 10-cent pistols effect.
Or we could just go find a boat!
Boat's too slow.
No, it isn't! It's a boat! It's made to travel on the water! Instead of
this
this
is gonna be interesting.
horrible Frankenstein's
Jake.
mutation you want to make, this logistics
Jake,
nightmare where you want to use the recoil of a gun repeated 6 times, which is way
missile?
less than you think.
Missile, not gun.
Regardless of what it is, it's
a rocket
way less than
propelled
you
grenade
think to
sometimes.
propel a floating car above water faster than a truck bus traveling at normal speed.
Well, because we're able to actually take the bird's eye view. Or bird's route.
Does it matter?
Yes, it does, actually. That cuts down on about 90% of all travel time if you didn't
Also,
have to
not
take
something
roads.
that Sophia's gonna see coming at all.
No, it does.
You see, have you ever
Sophia
played this game
doesn't
Fortnite, Jake?
Sophia can't. Sophia can't see. Sophia's not gonna look at the ocean, see a random boat walking up to the thing, and be like, "Oh, see, right, there's my nemesis, here to stop me from fulfilling my plan." What do you think we're dealing with here?
Saturday morning cartoon villains.
What possible? How is
Saturday
this
morning
possible
cartoon
that you
villains?
think that this logistics, this fucking Rube Goldberg machine is more effective than just normally procuring a normal boat and just using that to
Do you know how
travel
hard it is
over
to
water?
procure a boat on short notice?
Dan is going to grab a D20 from his pocket.
Bruno did it.
So, who's Bruno?
Out of character, Bruno was in the Mafia. He had the
We don't
resources
talk about
for that
Bruno,
shit.
okay? We don't talk about Bruno. I'm gonna roll a dice. All right, so evens or odds?
I hand you a quarter. This is better for that. Just call heads or tails.
Nah, even or odds.
You have your fancy knife dice out, don't you?
I have my dagger.
Oh my goodness sakes.
Fuck it, even.
Even.
Odds.
All right. All right. So we're doing that.
Sure.
Please take as much time for this as you need. I'm totally not making a battle map real quick.
Good. What did you say?
Let me just...
I'm saying take as much time for this as you want. I am totally not making a battle map or anything.
Alatos readies the Pillar
who's
Man
even in
music in the
whose odds?
background.
Who's even?
I
in whose
think...
odds?
I think JK was even and I was odd.
Yeah.
Odd.
Why did you get rid of the chat?
Good.
There we go.
Planned comedy it is.
Sorry. Sorry, the dice spoke.
Get in the car, loser. We're going fishing.
Goodness sakes alive.
It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
This certainly is a bizarre adventure.
Altos, what happens to the car? What happens to the axes of the car whenever whenever Dan fires a missile? Does the car spin?
Hold on. Give me
Putting
one
ourselves
moment.
in a tea house ride at Disney World.
All right, so what exactly is the plan here?
Okay, so as far as I understand it, so that you can hear what I hear,
Yeah.
you want me to get in a regular car so that you can lift it off the ground with your bullshit density powers so that Dan can propel the car forward by repeatedly firing missiles backwards so that we can fly above water in time to get to
So here's the other thing. Okay, all right. You
The
know, you want to know
location we're
something?
supposed to
You want to
go.
know something stupid that I'm gonna do? I'm going to have 10-cent pistol attached to the car and fire a missile towards us while holding it, so that the propellant is flying us forward.
That's what I kind of thought we were doing. I didn't think we were shooting the car.
No. What's it? But I'm
Also,
brain.
Also, out of character, I'm a forever GM. Do you know how often I get to do goofy player bullshit like this? Never.
Do you know what? Do you know what I'm the best at? That you guys realized I'm the best at?
Goofy bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah, this is also fair.
Remember, I'm also a wife guy apparently in one campaign.
Yeah, this is also something I could see Hirohiko Araki writing.
I really cannot. I don't think this would ever happen. Look, alright, okay. So, yeah, I get it. Giorno turning all the cars into frogs. Yeah, that's kind of in line with what this is. But I draw the line at we're using the momentum of firing a gun to propel
missiles.
the floating car, whatever.
It uses propellant,
The same fucking
which
difference.
is the same as rocket fuel. Kinda. And if there's no density to the car, it will shoot off pretty fast.
Yeah, actually, this is gonna be very fast.
What's the chance?
I'm just imagining the most confused Coast Guard report in history.
Wait. So the missile's attached to the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, the missile knows where it is by knowing where it isn't.
That's gonna destroy the car.
Not if
The
I
car's-
drop it before.
The car is lighter than air. What do you think will happen when the missile hits it?
The missile won't hit it because I'll be dropping
what-
the missile.
Wait,
Both
I
into the
thought these were
water.
gunshots you were propelling into the water to propel us forward.
It could be both.
So basically, the idea I had in mind is that basically the car and 10 Cent would be bumper to bumper with each other.
Yeah.
10 Cent fires, and the momentum from 10 Cent firing is what is pushing the car.
Yeah, that's what I thought would happen as well.
Yeah,
yes.
that's also what I thought would happen, and I still think it's stupid.
It's worth trying, damn it.
Hey, no, we rolled. We rolled. You can't. Are you saying you're not going to honor the roll? I gave you a 50% shot there, JK. I
Fuck
should have
it.
only given you a 75. I should have only
Fuck
given
it.
you 25%.
All
chance.
right, fuck it. You do your plan. I'm through trying to make any heads or tails of this.
I will note I am at 1 momentum
That's fine.
for what it matters in regards to if we need to roll for this.
That is absolutely fine. Let's see. Yeah, that'll be good enough. We'll roll with that. Okay. So I'm guessing you're gonna go ahead with the magic car plan.
Yes.
Yes, Operation Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh, goodness sakes. All right. It does take you a bit, But you do think you have saved a significant more amount of time doing this
Than trying to find a
than
boat.
if you were to drive. Plus, you get to avoid meeting the Benjamin kids.
We
from
also
what Theo
get
has
an
told
absolutely
you.
hilarious panel.
Yes.
I'm sorry about that, Altos. I knew you probably made
No,
a
you're
good...
fine.
They'll show up in the final battle, and we'll be like, ah, shit.
They'll show up in the crossover episode with Fate Breakers.
Wouldn't they just die instantly?
Depends.
They beat Lythander. Lythander's like, I'm tired. Have a drink.
I'd like to think stand users can stand up to exalts. At least the more powerful stand users.
Do you think
anyway.
Cars could beat an Exalt?
Yes.
I don't think so.
It depends on which exalt.
I don't know. I think Cars would lose against a Lunar.
Listen, let's save that. Let's save that for when Funny Valentine decides to bring them together.
Oh, goodness. So, eventually, through your little travel plan, your newly found interesting travel plan, and I'll bring up the map.
I just imagine, as you're bringing up the map, there is one panel of the manga where we just pass by a Coast Guard making the most confused facial expressions on his boat.
Oh, goodness.
He makes eye contact with
We make eye contact
Tyson.
with him. The boat's driving on water, essentially, or it's a flying boat on water. Or flying
You don't make eye contact with the Coast Guard, no. Instead, you pass by a bunch of people renting boats for, like, leisure, and you make eye contact with them for, like, a second as they're just out doing whatever. You notice, like, a couple of families or just some dude bros doing their thing out on the water, and you're just sort of flying past them.
This is going to be an amazing BuzzFeed Unsolved episode 2 years from now.
Oh, yeah, it will. But eventually, you fly from Plymouth all the way onto the beach of Provincetown. You land kind of in the sort of more south part of town. Again, specifically on a sort of road near a beach area, not in the town itself. So how will you lads proceed?
We're gonna just drive onto land.
Well, no,
Okay.
I'm not sure if I want to get the car gummed up in sand, so I'm going to physically
be
pick up and
floating
carry the
still?
car. Oh,
Alright.
if we're floating still, then never mind.
Eventually, you do hit a modern road.
Okay, yeah, then we'll just physically drive and release the Linkin Park effect.
See,
Okay.
you saved so much on gas.
While they're doing their thing, I'm just sort of going to be trying to dredge up what Yalir said about where he was taken when he got his stand, so I can remember
Valir.
exactly where, like, what building we need to look out for. Where do we need to wait?
Also, I'm surprised that he never actually activated his stand on us. It's weird.
I mean, it sounded like he defected, essentially, so
I
that's
don't
not a
think
surprise.
he did, because then he would have been killed.
So I'm guessing you will be driving deeper into town, or what's it?
Are
so,
we still in
so-
the house?
No.
No. You've made it to Provincetown. To answer your question from earlier, JK, from what you heard, Valir's, from where Valir was taken, from this whole cult thing, it was in... I'm trying to remember. I think I said the town last time, but I didn't write it down. I'm gonna say it was in Clinton, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Is where James jumped him.
No, yes, but I mean, the way do you remember the way I got him to tell us where the kids were going is by getting him to
yes,
admit
yes.
where he was taken to get his stand.
Yeah, okay, I see now. I will say this, from what you remember, he was sort of taken to a sort of pier area, for when the trial occurred for him. Which, upon a quick GPS check, there appears to be a pier area, in the in the center of Provincetown itself.
Oh.
Is that's where you will be heading.
This is where the point of no return message pops up.
This is where the point of no return message pops up. Are you going to the pier, yes or no?
I'm gonna go and buy some stuff first.
What are you going to buy exactly?
That's a good question.
Indeed.
While we go there, I'm gonna send a message to my partner just saying I found them.
Hey guys, what's actually a good thing to buy here? Like, what do we need? I'm gonna get a life jacket.
Here's an idea: buy a couple pairs of clothes. We could disguise. We could disguise the LA plus.
Get some soda to celebrate our victory.
Actually, Jake, that might be a good idea.
I actually do buy several pairs of clothes, like souvenir T-shirts and whatnot, and maybe a few cheap pairs of pants to dress the LA plus in if we decide to use them as an ambush.
Okay. So you're just gonna buy I'm gonna say you just get some medium clothing. At least long enough clothes to be able to disguise the sort of energy aura that's coming off of them.
Yeah.
Should that occur. Hold on.
Yeah, the way that you phrased that question, it sounded like you asked us if we were looking for controlled substances like guns. No, I'm just buying souvenir T-shirts.
Fair enough. But yes, okay.
Do I
so
still
you
have my
get.
knife?
You still have your knife.
Okay.
Okay,
Do I see any stores that might sell things like weapons, like an old antique shop?
For this particular place, I'm gonna say no. You don't find any kind of weapons shop per se in this
Any
town.
antique shops?
There, I'll say it is antiques, but with quotations around them. It's sort of just
Stuff.
a lot of touristy, cliche antiques.
Any antique rifles?
No.
Oh, okay.
Any place you would be able to find a rifle of that kind would probably be at the Monument and Provincetown Museum.
As you're on the way out, Tyson steps up to you with a rock. I figured out how to make your stand shoot out rocks like bullets. Check this out. And just do the Josuke shooting trick. Like across the ocean.
Oh, I see. You're just gonna be skipping the rock.
Yeah, but at like bullet speed.
Yeah.
I mean, I could already do that.
Yeah, so you don't need to buy any weapons.
Yeah, but what if I don't have my the right standout?
Hilariously, I think we all have weird gimmick fucked up ways to emulate a gun shooting a bullet in our stands.
We do, yeah.
Mine just shoots a bullet, / missile, / whatever I want.
Yeah, this is the last chance at the item stop and save point right here.
Mine is the stupidest one because in order to do that, I have to
get shot.
I have to throw a bullet back into the room I created, and then immediately exit the room, and then get away from the door in order for the bullet to shoot out in the direction that I get out from.
That is the stupidest. It's Looney Tunes bullets.
Let's see. I am kind of thinking of like maybe some drinks, some bandages, maybe some alcohol, like alcohol to put on wounds.
Rubbing alcohol, yeah.
Yeah, rubbing alcohol.
Yeah,
Some
just buy like a
Q-tips.
first aid kit.
Yeah.
Just some general medic supplies.
Yeah, and some ibuprofen and such.
Okay, that wouldn't be too difficult to get.
I would hope any CVS should have half of this.
I also buy some Sudafed because allergy season is coming up.
Indeed. There's a local pharmacy slash just general medication area you can go to, and they have all sorts of stuff.
Morphine, check.
No,
Viagra, check.
they do. They most. I mean, with a prescription.
I'm gonna
sure.
buy two last things. Things. Matches and lighter fluid.
Ah.
Not too hard to actually find in a grocery store, surprisingly.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's surprising not to find.
Yeah, campfire supplies.
I also buy a chip witch. We've been through a lot, and we deserve a treat.
I'm having half of a chip witch right now.
Nice.
And by that I mean I'm having chips.
That's close enough. It's in the name.
That is, it's close enough.
I'm going to buy myself a ice cream bar.
Yep, you're able to find those quite easily from a local place. Like I said, this place gets a lot of tourists in the summer, so they at least have some places like at the ready.
I'm gonna go to Dunkin' Donuts and get myself a maple peanut butter glazed bacon Oreo donut.
We have to do all these comedy bits now before the final battle, where it gets serious
but
again.
fun fact: I can actually get that if I wanted to from a donut.
That is
shop.
insanity. Why would you want to do that?
Do you guys want to actually tell me what to get for myself?
Hold on, let me even check if Provincetown has a Dunkin' Donuts in the first place. I think it's
DUCK.
Really?
Yeah.
Would that even exist in Provincetown? I don't think it would.
You never know.
Maybe it existed before the events of next month happen, when a bunch of businesses shut down.
Yeah, true. Actually, there's one nearby Provincetown.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I wish I was joking. No, there is one somewhat close to Provincetown. I'll allow it. Sure, why not?
Sure, I'll have a maple, or I'll have a peanut butter bacon.
Well, maps is incredibly
Oreo.
useful when running games in the real world.
You're telling me.
Donut. I'll have that. I'll ask everybody. Hey, anybody want a donut?
Actually, bit of a related anecdote. I'm actually in another JoJo's campaign, which not recorded content. It is a friends game run by an indie RPG writer. They wrote Oddity High. Check it out once it comes on market. They've used many reference images from real-life New York, including an apartment complex that looks like it was ripped right out of Araki's own artwork. There's some weird shit when you crawl through Google Maps.
Indeed. When I used to run a Call of Cthulhu campaign, again off content, I would use Google Images since it took place in Reno, Nevada. So I just got a bunch of street view maps for that.
Nice.
The final boss is hanging out in Grover House.
Oh, God.
Oh my god, yeah, that would be a great location for a final boss.
Oh man.
Excellent.
The final
All right.
boss map will be myhouse.wad.
You've got your celebratory snacks. You've got
Medical supplies.
some medical supplies.
Oh, I'll also
Anything
buy
else?
like 500 feet of rope.
Grab a spare adventurer's kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'll say there's something for that.
I mean, rope probably wouldn't be hard to find, like laundry rope and stuff.
It's a good thing we found a Dick's Sporting Goods in Provincetown.
Yeah, totally. I'll just say you find like a general hardware store, and they
should have some
they
rope.
have like some. Yes.
And
they
I'll
would.
buy an axe. Fine, I'll buy a mallet.
Okay, yeah, like a hammer.
Yeah, you're
With
able
an
to
axe
buy
on the
those
back.
things. Oh my goodness.
I'll buy
Let's
a
go to
hat.
the Let's tell us what the final boss map looks like. We're gonna keep
All
putting
right.
more time into bits.
I will bring you all over there promptly. It's about sometime in the afternoon, close to evening, when you arrive at the pier. As you're starting to walk up to the general area on the right side here, you happen to see a woman that is on the other side of you. Let me get the thing real quick. She has ruby red hair, looks to be dyed. Her eyes are green, and it matches the green earring she has on each ear. She appears to be wearing almost robe-like clothing, but but you can obviously see where the hoodie sort of stops and the pants begin. But nonetheless, she is alone. And she appears to be walking towards the pier. She doesn't seem to have immediately noticed you.
Get the box ready.
I'm going to start to meditate.
All right. I imagine you're going to bring out all 9 of the energy figures from LA Plus.
This is the leader of the cult. I'm sure she has some absolute nonsense ready, but this is our effort.
I will bring out a question. How many is my max?
Your maximum is 9.
What is my minimum?
Your minimum is 1.
I will summon 3 to make... The question, is 9 just a hard limit on the stand itself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
I was thinking, like, is it one of those where, oh, hey, if you mastered it, you can do a lot more than that?
Nope, 9 is the hard cap.
Okay.
And we have them all dressed in jaunty tourist outfits.
Mm-hmm. Covered up enough to where if, say, a stand user was looking at them, you wouldn't be able to tell that they were these phantasmic energy beings.
I'll do 5. I'll try to maintain 5.
Okay, you'll do 5 of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't seem that... Like, it's a lot, but it isn't a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm imagining you're placing them in sort of different locations.
Yeah.
Spreading them throughout. Okay.
And I'm going to have... Wait, can I maintain both LA Plus and Sergeant Radiohead at the same time?
I'll say you'll be able to, as long as you keep a sort of half meditative trance.
Yeah. I am going to do that and breathe.
All right.
Okay, so while you're doing that, I'm going to turn to Tyson and say, I have an idea. In case things go south, let me at one of those soda cans.
Okay. And I strategically place a few soda cans that we bought. Like, we bought a 12-pack, and I placed them at locations... Oh, okay.
Just one. I call it Operation Grenade.
Hmm. So you're just going to put a random soda can?
I do strategically roll a few soda cans around because they are based on ideas that Tyson is starting to formulate just in case things go south himself.
Okay.
Yeah, just give one... Yeah, but you give one to me still, right?
Yeah, I give one to you as well, but the other
Okay,
11
so-
are just scattered all over the pier.
I place it
so
back.
You have one.
I place it back on your bag, and then suddenly I'm not there.
I see.
Oh, okay.
There is a door on the soda can.
Okay.
Like on the where the the lid of the soda can would be. There's just like a tiny cartoon door.
All right. Oh, goodness. What are you lads going to do now?
I look at, in the WhatsApp, do we just rush her, or do we send in the ghosts and as like a first wave? Actually, I don't know if you can respond to the WhatsApp if you're meditating. We should probably have discussed this beforehand.
Whoopsie daisy.
I can respond to the message if you want.
Okay, good. Signal carries inside of your soda can. That's good.
Let's be careful. Let's just be real careful. We're expected, so, try to approach this with, how do I say this? Some subtlety. We don't have to go the assassin route. Let's just, be earnest and, talk about what we heard, talk about who we talked to, ask her about the plan. Just, get her distracted enough.
So what is LA Plus's stats lineup?
I'll say you'll be able to know from this. So, LA Plus, power, C, speed, C, durability, E, precision, A, range, B.
So it's literally just another copy of Little Black Submarines. Except
Is that your
with
exact
less
stat
range.
line?
That is, hold on, it may not be the exact. Let me double check. CCEBA, CC. It's not the exact same. There's some differences.
What's the potential again?
Like Little Black Submarines has better range. I think LA Plus has better precision. Yeah.
And I'm assuming LA Plus has like E potential.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
So is the plan to just slowly surround her with energy beings as we distract her via talking?
Well,
I
we're
don't
already in
know.
the plan, so Dan is in full meditation mode.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
JK, I would say JK would be able to receive the WhatsApp messages from inside the little pocket
So, yeah,
dimension,
wait. What did you think was what are you suggesting is the plan?
or at the very least, you can talk to him through the door.
My plan was to hide and then send in wave 1 of the energy beings to see how she reacts and get an idea of what she can do. And then after that is when we come into the picture, so we have an idea of what we're dealing with.
I guess I always thought it would be a better. I always thought it would be nice to start as a single person and then send in the energy beings and then send in whoever else.
Then she wants me, then I'll go in first.
You want me?
No, she wants me because of the stand ability.
That was outside of.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess I slowly psych myself up and I just start... Oh, I'm approaching her.
So you're just going to be approaching her.
Yes.
After about 3 or 4 steps towards her, she moves her head a bit and immediately locks eyes with you. You two have this moment where you just stare at each other eye to eye.
I'm sure this is
Clear
where
she...
this is where the AMV where they play the song her stand's named after kicks in.
Oh, yeah. So, it comes down to this now. Tyson Reddick.
Riddick.
When you take a man's kids from him, he'll stop at nothing to get them back.
Then how about we get your children back, huh? I just want one thing. And your kids and your friends' loved ones are free to go, unharmed.
To call up your god, is that it?
Yep. I assume you know at least a bit more than I originally thought.
Some kind of Mars demon?
Not a demon per se. I've been doing a lot of research in my time on all this, but I can assure you he's no demon. Now, if you wish to reunite with your children unharmed, bring out your stand.
One question before any of that.
Would you like to buy extended car insurance?
I'm
Just had to get one more in.
Life insurance. I saw life insurance, not car insurance, but that was very funny. What makes you think this god will be on anyone's side? If let's say that I do what you ask and call him down, what makes you think he's not some kind of feral Typhon monster who won't rip out all of our hearts in front of us?
I've studied this being for quite some time. I'll grant you, there's not much to go on as far as written down history or mythology. But from what I have studied, from what has been noted, this god can bring about beautiful changes to this world.
Just imagine her starting lifting off the perfect organism fact sheet. Sex, useless. That's the last bit for now. Let's get back into serious mode.
That's fine.
You're putting an awful lot on faith in for something you have such little information. You could be summoning in an Antichrist, for all you know. You could be bringing about Ragnarok.
It's all I can do at this point.
All you can do? To what?
All the bodies, all the people I've killed through this thing. I can't do any more. I have to see this through. I can't let this all go in vain.
If you call this thing down and it ends the world, then everything would have been for nothing. If you stop now and the world doesn't end, then their sacrifices won't have been put to that.
If the world does end, then no one can remember the mistakes I've made up to this point.
So you're dead set on this then? That's it? No way to talk you down?
I'm afraid not.
We both knew this was only ever going to end one way.
I truly wished it didn't. But I'm afraid I have to do this. You have to understand.
I feel like now is the point when I kind of realize what kind of story I'm in, and I do go on one JoJo monologue a little. You have insurance? No, I'm going somewhere with this.
My parents, before they passed, had life insurance.
So that's what this is all about then. Bringing back old mom and dad. It's a family issue.
Something like that. You know, perhaps it's better I show you than tell you. How about that?
Bring it out.
She does bring something out, actually. From her sleeve, she takes out a soda can.
What?
But not any sort of soda can.
It's Silver Surfer
What-
time.
What you're looking at is an exact replica of canned heat.
Oh.
Good thing she can't reproduce little black submarines.
So, how about this? Before we do this, before we go teeth over fist, or teeth over claws at this point, at least let me show you why I'm doing this.
Let me finish what I was saying first. The reason people buy life insurance, aside from it being a horribly exploitative industry I hate working in every day, is to plan. To make a plan for the future in case things go their worst. Do you really think we would walk into this without an idea of what we were doing?
Yes.
No. Getting this far? I know you would have had a plan in mind.
So just know that this is not going to end the way that you want. Regardless of whether or not this god comes down here, I'm pretty certain that if it does come to that, we just kill that god too.
I suppose we'll find out, won't we? Now, are you going to accept my offer?
I'm not gonna drink anything out of that canned cold.
You don't need to drink anything. It seems you've all, or at least Dan and JK, have been quite busy with the gifts I've been giving them. Suddenly, there is a door that appears right in front of her.
Or nothing?
It is on the ground in front of her that has this
thank
door
you.
seems to have instantly appeared.
I don't really see that, but I appreciate.
Well, yes, you don't see that. Tyson sees this.
Virtual insanity? That's impossible. He only just...
Indeed. And that is just a portion of my ability. This lovely gift that I have been given. It is at this point that even JK, you can see this at this point. You see something moving in the skies. It appears to be a giant gray snake with the head of a lion, a crown on its head, and a ball of
That can't be good.
and a ball of light above the crown, almost as bright as the sun. I actually have a visual representation of this.
Snake.
Unfortunately, it is not one I commissioned, so I can't show the audience.
Black hole sun? Oh my god!
It looks like this.
Yo!
Snake.
This is the power of I, the Creator.
That's a fucking final boss ass design there, alright?
Let's go Breath of Fire. Let's get it done.
I think that you fight this in one of the SNES Final Fantasies.
More than likely. So, Tyson, what's it gonna be?
What's it gonna be, Darby? What?
Care to follow me to Lullaby Lane? Or do we just end this now?
So Tyson,
Yes?
you feel the can getting warmer in your bag.
I take out the can.
You see a little bit of smoke coming out of it.
Now, what I remember JK saying is, did you say to throw this?
Maybe you could.
You did say grenade.
Yeah, that's Operation. I did say Operation Grenade.
Let's have a third option between what you just said. You offered me a drink. It's only fair I return in kind! And I chuck the can at her.
All right.
So, as the can flies through the air in Sophia's direction, the tiny door in front of it opens. Though at a mere glimpse and unfocused, Sophia sees a room covered in flames. Just in a giant room burning, erupting in flames.
Oh, goodness.
And JK sitting in a lawn chair at the center of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Upon seeing the can fly, JK jumps out of the room behind Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the fire comes blasting out of the can.
Okay. For that, Let's see. So it's you throwing the can, Tyson?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to need a roll for that, please.
Is this power or precision?
It would be precision, and if it's you yourself throwing it...
Unfortunately, I believe it's Linkin Park, but it also has D precision. So it doesn't matter.
Indeed. All right.
I do have 1 momentum.
And then there will be a counter to this as well.
Now, let me double check what the rules say about predictions, though.
Yes.
I can spend the 1 momentum I have to make a prediction, I think.
Yeah, the 1 positive momentum.
I would like to try and get this 1 special ability activated by the end of the campaign, and that requires being
fine.
at -3, so I'm going to spend that now.
Mm-hmm.
You predict a stat that she's going to try and counter with. I think she's going to try and counter with precision herself.
Okay. Let me look at the exact wording of this real quick. Because, let's see. Yes. Okay, let me look up the word. No, not there. Here, please. Come on, where is it? Let's say contest. If you then likely to use, if they decide to use that send, then you roll on contest. Otherwise, proceed as normal, even if you succeed. Okay, so it continues even. Okay, so you're guessing she's going to use what exactly?
Precision. I think that she is going to have some kind of sky laser or something from the creator come down and blast the can out of its flight path.
Okay, we're gonna go with. Let's see. Well, that is not the stat she is going to use.
Whoa.
Don't worry. Nothing happens other than you lose that momentum.
Okay.
Um.
And I think I failed this roll, so I'm down to -1 then.
Indeed. And she succeeds the contest. Let's see.
I'm fine with this. I want to get to -3 to bust out my sick new skill.
Oh, goodness. But yes, unfortunately, the can does not quite reach to Sofia. And then, because it gets hit by the massive body of the creator.
When you say massive, is this like the size of a battleship or something?
I mean, as far as, like, diameter, yeah, pretty much.
I think I toured one of these in Hawaii.
So the body of the snake blocks the can from getting to her.
Yes.
But that's still...
the
the explosion
gigantic
still...
body of this thing.
But the explosion still goes off.
Fair enough.
This thing's stats are all A, aren't they?
But since this technically was a failed roll for that, I'll say that it blocks it in such a way that the explosion is pointed away from the creator.
It was a really good plan, just the dice did not support it.
Indeed.
That's okay, I have a backup plan.
It also wasn't the only plan we have, because we still have our energy beings.
Oh, goodness.
I have to ask, are they pink? Because I have a gift to post if they are.
In my head, I had them as sort of like yellowish, but like
there is no gift for
there
is no gift for too much pink energy is dangerous. Damn it.
Either way.
Either way, I could just post Zordon as we're all getting our plans ready. So I guess that's my action for this first round. Then is to chuck the can. So that leaves Dan open.
Yep.
I'll just post Zordon anyway. Korak.
Yeah.
Korak, that's your turn.
Oh, Dan is just breathing still.
You're still just going to use your meditation.
Yes.
Okay.
Does that mean that he could use his action to send in our backup?
LA plus, yes.
Yes, I'm going to do that, but I'm also trying to do something dumb.
Hold on. I still have the PNGs. Just need to increase.
I really like that we were able to bring in LA Plus as like a secondary advancement option because you can't really do standard loot or items in this, so this is a really cool thing we stumbled into.
I am very glad we came back to this, I'll be real. Okay, what do we got here? Gotta just give a quick explanation on something real quick. Let's see, and let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You only did 5, so
Yeah, so delete one of them. Thank you.
Oh, good, they are literally T-posing. Wonderful.
Yes. So,
That means that's how you know they're powerful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So am I allowed to also summon 10-cent pistol?
Depends on what you want to do exactly for your move.
Apply one of them with a missile and run out.
So you're going to have 10 cent with one of the LA Plus guys. Okay.
I don't think we need to edit in self-harm warnings for psychic projections.
No. These things are made of pure energy. These things are not sapient per se.
That works.
Oh no, if they were sapient, I would not do this at all.
They're living constructs.
Right.
But nonetheless, so you're going to give 10-cent pistol to, or at least have 10-cent pistol hover next to one of the plasma guys. Okay, then what are you going to do?
Have that one shoot. Have 10-cent pistol shoot a missile.
Okay, I will need a precision roll for that, please.
Can I use the precision of one of these guys? Since they were holding 10 cent.
If they're holding 10 cent, you know what? Sure, I'll grant you that one. So 3d20, take the highest.
Shoot. That's 16.
16. That is a definite success. She will counter this. Let's see. She's going to do this. Actually, no, she's going to do this. Oh, not quite. So.
Oh, yeah, fine. No, okay, good.
No, you succeed in that. So so let me tell you how this one plays out. So you have one of the LA Plus guys fire the missile. In a moment, you see other energy beings that you guys didn't summon appear for a moment to try and block the shot that was heading towards Sophia's way. But they had missed, and it hits Sophia in the ribs.
She could just use all the stands?
Yeah. I kind of guessed that.
This was the original plan for Dio. That's fucking sick.
And I will say it does. How much is that again? And this is going off of.
I would say that. Both of them have C power anyway, so.
Okay. So that works perfectly. Okay.
I'm guessing Sophia has an S in all of her stats.
I will reveal stats after the fight is over.
The fight's never over.
I'm assuming this is a multi-phase setup here. Like, I'm assuming she has a phase where she turns red and becomes a super mech or something. I don't know.
Fine. I see you don't want to play. I see you don't want to talk to maybe think things over. Fine. Teeth and claws it is.
Not quite. And because I didn't get to roll.
Oh.
And then I put my hand on her shoulder.
I don't think you're physically close to her.
I jumped out her. Yeah, I jumped out at her.
Okay. Let's see. Let's let's see. If you want to jump from the can physically at her, I'll say... Let me look at your thing.
Oh, also, just to let you know that, that I am dressed up as as the guys as well.
Ah.
Okay, similar.
Yeah,
similar.
just...
Okay.
Yeah.
Show game.
So I'll say... Since you're using virtual insanity to sort of jump to her, roll a precision with Canned Heat's precision.
Okay.
See
Don't
if
you
you're
also get a
close
+3 since it's
to
technique?
her.
It's a new ability, not a technique.
Yeah, I was about to say.
All right, that's not bad.
Okay, that is a what's a definite success. She won't contest against that one. But yeah, you're able to land right next to her.
You want to talk? Let's talk.
Okay, what are you going to do?
You didn't have a plan, did you, Chills?
Let's get to the bottom of this. To where it all started. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I can't say I know what you're talking about, but if you want to get to the bottom of things, all you need to know is how I got on this road in the first place.
Yeah. That's where I'm talking about.
Then
And then-
inside the door we go.
Yep.
And she jumps into the door that she created.
What happens when I make a door inside her
That's
door
a
dimension?
great question.
The world may never know unless you create a bomb, apparently, like you do in Dungeons & Dragons.
No. You need to bring in Nue, and then you'll activate the secret ejection
goodness.
technique.
So, where exactly are you placing this new door
Doria.
exactly? Oh, goodness.
On the floor. Where she... I thought she was placing the door.
Yeah, she did place the door, and now she is going to jump into the door. Or rather, jump on the door.
No, I'm just sort of looking at at where she's taking me first, of course.
She's not grabbing you or taking you anywhere. She's just jumping by herself.
I jump in with her.
Okay. It seems that you jump through the door alongside with her. Tyson, JK and Sofia are gone in an instant. The creator is still there.
Right, of course it is.
The creator sort of looks you sort of dead in the eyes, and you can see its eyes start to glow a bit. When you see its eyes glow, you can feel... You can't tell if it's you or Linkin Park, but something's rumbling deep inside you.
Oh shit, it's happening already? I start running for the door.
Okay. You are able to get into the door without incident.
Do I feel the rumbling stop once I'm inside?
You do.
Okay.
Linkin Park is left outside.
Oh, fuck.
Dan, are you going to follow them into the door as well? Or are you just going to stay?
Dan is going to sleepwalk into the door through meditation.
You are going to go into the door. So you all enter the door. So let me describe the scene to you that you are seeing.
With
So,
all 5 of my Tencent,
when you
or
all
all 5
sort-
of my guys.
No, you don't.
They aren't actually able to enter.
Yeah, she doesn't let them.
Neither with Tencent nor LA+.
Oh, shoot. I do have 2 other ones that I can call on.
Oh, goodness. But either way. So once you all sort of land on your feet, you can see that you are in front of someone's house. There appears to be a mass amount of people in front of this house who all appear to have some sort of object on their person. It appears to be a different assortment of liquor bottles. that they all have in their hand. The doubly interesting thing about this, all these sort of liquor bottles have rags in them.
Oh.
This, and you see Sofia sort of in between the house and the people. And this is how it all started. You see silently as the people hand each other a lighter. And one by one, they all start to light the rags that is in the liquor thing alight. As small little flames start to grow one by one. You know, never in my life did I think I would have an opportunity for something quite like this. One night can change a person forever. Whether through positive experiences or negative experiences. One by one, the people start to throw the Molotovs at the house. I tried my best to make a positive situation out of this. The house starts to go up in flames quite quickly, where inside you can hear 2 sets of screams. I knew I shouldn't have went out that night. I knew in my heart I shouldn't have done it. But I was naive and stupid at the time. I wanted to hang out with a few friends. I didn't think that something like this would happen. You see the people start to leave, one by one, in absolute silence, as the screams and the fire grow louder and brighter, respectively. I will leave the floor up for any players if they wish to have any intervening questions.
So your family got burned to death by, I'm assuming, racists, or...
Oh, wait, is this a witch hunt? Lythander says.
Get back in your campaign! Funny Valentine hasn't brought you over yet!
Is this like a witch hunt, I'm guessing?
Some might say it's the last witch hunt that could have ever occurred in Massachusetts. But yes, it was. You see a younger Sofia start to run down the street. Tears now in her eyes as the younger Sofia is trying to open the door, but seems to be unable to. You can hear more screaming and shouting coming from inside, and now even younger Sofia is starting to yell to try and get whoever the people are out. Eventually, after some more failed attempts, she runs over to the side of the house that seems to be fenced, and starts to climb the fence to get to the back end of the house. Of course, I had to choose the one night where we changed the locks on our doors. But eventually, even if I did make it to the back door in time, even if I did have the correct key, there wouldn't have been anything I could do at that point. They had been near the initial blast. I couldn't save them.
So that's it then. You think your god can bring them back?
No, I think she's thinking that her god can get revenge on those people.
Hold on. I get it. Tragedy and all that, it's...
Wait, how? We're like...
something
You're
difficult
like
to...
12.
Shut up. I'm the same age as you. We don't need this right now. Also, stop throwing me off my group. Tragedy can strike it. It's something difficult to reconcile. I'm not going to really claim to understand exactly where you're coming from, but after all, our experiences are very different. But what I'm trying to understand is, how did you come across the existence of this god, so to speak, and
Why do you believe that he's the answer?
First, for consistency's sake, I would like to get to your question. She's pointing to you, Dan.
What?
Or rather, to your theory that you have on why bringing this god back. Revenge? No, I'm afraid I got that already. The floor around you starts to shift as the entire world around you is starting to shift. You look inside, or you are now all inside a church that is now very familiar to you all. It is indeed the church that you are all at in Salem, although this one appears to be very much not in disarray, but in perfect, pristine condition. You see a congregation in the middle of their Sunday sermon, and who else at the pulpit would be but one Theo himself. From the back doors that open, you see a younger Sofia. And that's when you hear the first crashing sound. The creator bursts through one of the walls and starts to devour the people one by one. In a bloody haze and mist. As people are screaming and clamoring around trying to get out, they are all eventually crushed or devoured by the creator. All of them, except for Theo, who is now paralyzed by fear at this point. Like I said, I had gotten revenge a long time ago.
So what is this god to you then?
This god, from the research that was found, is supposed to bring rebirth, renewal to the human species as a whole. At least that's what the followers of this god believed.
And you're just gonna believe them?
There's nothing else. There's no other evidence that contradicts it. Sure, the writings are limited, but the devotees were quite fascinating in how much they had faith in this god themselves.
For a random chance? Just... I guess...
It was one of the only good guesses I had. You see, after my parents had departed, I had received every...
Murdered?
Yes, murdered. If we're going to call it what it really was. They had left everything to me. Their money, what was left of our house, they left it all to me. So, with the money, I had to get away from this place. Especially after this point in my life. I had to get away, so I traveled the world. I went across Europe, Asia, Africa, South and North America, Central America as well. I visited everything and everywhere I could. And while I was walking and looking at these new places, trying to forget the events of what happened here, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about mythology, about religion, spirituality, about the different paths that people have walked to get to where they are and to what they believe. And it seems that obviously, lots of different cultures believe in a lot of different things due to, to what their traditions were according to at the time. But the particular denomination I found in South America, they were different. The notes they put down, the rituals they performed for this god, they were different. Usually it's gifts of offering, like either a rich chocolate or some sort of liquor, but these ones, no. These ones set their dedication to their god by becoming stronger physically and mentally as well, to become perfect warriors to honor their god's return. some say that even a few chosen followers were put alongside this god. But there's way less information on those claims than of the god itself. So surprise little old me when I get a bit of information that there was an eyewitness to seeing such a god. And that this such god had fought a man. Not even that far off, but a mere, probably 60 years ago? It's quite a miraculous study if you ask me. At least a phenomenal happenstance. But
Question, would Dan know anything of this?
nothing that's triggering any bells.
Okay.
Not yet. But according to this eyewitness, this god and this man had quite the heated battle against each other, even somehow setting off a volcano. But in the end, it seems that humanity, in all of its ignorance, managed to win against this god and send it to the planet Mars. So, with that, I wish to bring it back to hopefully start this course of rebirth and renewal for humankind.
Has it ever occurred to you that maybe humanity shot this god off to Mars for a fucking reason?
Because humanity is scared of what it doesn't understand.
Or maybe because this god was more like a demon that wanted to nuke the whole planet.
Well, how do we know? We weren't there. I remember a story that my grandfather told me.
Yes, and this is where the bells start to occur as well. You remember hearing a name from your grandfather, a one Joseph Joestar, who has a very similar sounding story from what your grandpa told you.
Yeah, my grandfather told me that my great great grandfather Caesar.
Not quite, but
Okay.
we'll let it lie.
All right. Oh, hey, wait a second. That's the old story that my old cute grandfather told me. I thought he was a pimp.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah, he shot him off a volcano. He fought on a chariot.
As interesting as I'm sure that is, you can tell she kind of believes you, actually, Dan.
Because it's sounding very familiar to what her own story.
It's sounding extremely familiar to some of the details she's heard, but she's not saying aloud that she
I just
believes
imagine
you.
this deep religious idolation as we're cutting over fucking pros! Fucking pros!
But humanity constantly fears what it doesn't understand, whether that is on a micro level or a macro level. Something as insignificant as of what sex or gender someone wishes to take to bed with them. That is a fear that humanity just cannot get over, or at least some parts of humanity can't get over. So with this sort of rebirth and renewal, humanity has a chance to make its wrongs right, to be better than it was before. That's why I do this, because I have no other options left. Well, I suppose not all options are gone.
Listen, as a man who's been in a gay relationship for the past 5 years, I understand where you're coming from. Summoning some kind of god being to cleanse the world for us. If you've read all the mythology you've claimed, you'll know that in a lot of faiths, gods aren't necessarily on the side of humanity. They sacrificed and prayed to them so that they wouldn't get smitten. You ever read about the Hittites? That shit was horrific. They treated humanity like slaves. And sure, there are some mythologies where gods are good guys, but if what I'm guessing about this is true, and from what Theo mentioned to us when we spoke with him earlier, this is not that kind of god.
I'm afraid I'm aware of what you're talking about. Even the Norse mythology had its fair share of people who protected themselves from the gods as a way of devotion, so that way they wouldn't be on the other end of a spear, a hammer, or a sword from the gods they worshipped so much. But like I said, I'm out of options here. It's either this or never mind.
What? Nah, tell us.
Never.
No. Nah, tell us.
No.
No,
I
what's
can't.
the other option?
No.
What's the other option?
She's crumbling to the floor at this point.
Please, tell us the other option.
She reaches into her pocket. Content warning. Suicidal ideation.
Oh.
She pulls out a revolver and places it against her skull.
Dan is going to try to stop this.
All right. Tell me what you're going to try to do exactly.
Hey, put that down. It doesn't have to end like this.
So many bodies.
Life has more to it than this.
Do you seriously think that you can't do good with that ability too?
I mean, just
It's
think
not too
about
late.
it.
Who says you need a god? You could fix the world yourself.
You can't possibly imagine the people I've killed. Not only with just I, the creator from the church, but through all the trials. All those goddamn trials. So many people never passed those things, and their bodies, they just dissolved into... They were like raisins afterwards. Fuck. No, even the goddamn Benjamin kids' parents. I had to take them in. How could I not? I killed their parents on that night, goddammit!
Calm yourself.
You've made a lot of mistakes.
Do you want to know what you can... Do you know what doesn't actually make any sense if you want to repent? You taking the easy chicken shit way out.
She looks to you dead in the eyes. Her eyes slightly narrowed. You can't possibly imagine the horrors I've had to see.
Yeah.
Throughout my life.
Yes, and do you know what you need to do to atone for them? Live.
Cut out the root.
No.
She clicks
I'm
the
going
hammer
to
back.
I'm going to jump at her.
All right. I should mention her finger's not on the trigger. If that will make your if that sways your decision in any way. Her finger is not on the trigger.
Yeah, that's the safety, I think.
Still jumping towards the gun.
Okay. I'm going to need a roll from you. Since your stand is not
to be
here,
myself, yeah.
it has to be
So that's
yourself.
a 2d20 kick lowest.
Yep, she's not contesting you.
This is not where I expected the final boss to go at all.
Oh wait, no,
Nope.
that's not a roll.
That is not quite a roll. Oh my goodness! And so for the audience,
Plus I had a positive momentum, so
Correct.
that's a 19.
For the audience at home, Korak has just rolled a 20 and an 18. And as Korak just said, with the positive momentum, that is a 19. That's still a definite success. You are able to jump out and basically bash the gun out of her hand immediately. God damn it! No!
I'm going to give her a hug.
Dan
Right.
has a bright, out of character, Dan has a bright career as a social worker ahead of him.
JK gets up.
Sophia seems stunned by this. she's not making any moves against you, Dan. She's just kind of sitting there before eventually you start to hear her weeping.
You can't atone for what you've done, but you can try to make the lives of those who you've hurt better.
There's people who depend on you now.
No.
It's too late.
No. It's not too late.
No, you don't get it. No, I'm not talking about the fucking goddamn gun. Fuck. No. It's not that. Not anymore.
Then what is it?
It's already started.
She looks up to all of you with tears in her eyes. Faintly in the distance, you can see the face of I, the creator.
Hello. I wave at it.
It's not under your control, is it?
Is anybody looking into I, the creator's eyes by chance?
Yes, I am looking at it and waving at it.
All right. I'll say this. Dan, inside of its eyes, you see what appears to be an almost satellite view of the Milky Way galaxy.
Oh, God!
Oh.
Inside this, you see something odd occurring. It looks to be a lot of large-bodied objects. Not the planets, no, but something else. Something not as large, but equally as durable. And that's when you notice, when you look over to, let me make sure it's the right planet I'm looking at here. Hold on.
Mars.
No, not quite.
Uranus.
No. Haha,
Saturn.
very funny. Yes, actually, Saturn.
Okay.
The ring around Saturn is starting to shift. And that's when you realize all those things that were moving around were asteroids, meteorites, and every other sort of large object in the galaxy, including Saturn's rings. They're all starting to head towards Earth.
Oh, fuck!
So your entire plan was to kill us and yourself.
Her plan was to call all the big rocks in space back, including her god.
She looks up to all of you.
I pat her head.
This is the price for my power. I just want to watch you burn. It creates an apocalyptic event. But the only way it can be activated is... She looks to the gun. Well, you've seen already.
Wait, what was that? Sorry, brain no work for a second.
Oh, no.
There.
What she is effectively implying is that because of her suicide attempt, that is what caused this thing to happen.
There's one thing we haven't tried.
I hand her an ice cream.
No, Dan, you friggin' fool!
Not the time.
Alright, no, listen to me here. If suicidal thoughts brought this, happy memories, or happy thoughts, might negate it. We don't know how this thing
don't
actually
know if
works.
that counts for space rocks.
Tyson, let me look at your eyes. I need to be sure of something.
Heavy breathing, slow, turn to look at her.
Hold on, I need to actually look at your character thing real quick. I want to make sure of this myself. Tyson. What eyes are your thing? Those aren't the right colors. They're green. They're not... What? Then who was... I can't make heads or tails of this. Damn it. You're not the one I've been seeing in my dreams?
Who have you been seeing?
I've been seeing a man looks... Well, I can't actually see him. He always appears as a silhouette.
Oh my fucking god.
The
Well,
only one that appears is his eyes, but you don't have those eyes.
Do you want to see him right now?
I have to take a picture. Let me look at what fucking color Dio's eyes are.
Okay. So, as this goes,
Mm-hmm.
JK decide there's one thing we haven't tried.
His eyes are like orange. What color? Is it a human color or...
They were brown eyes.
Oh.
A very deep brown set of brown eyes.
And JK makes a door inside the memory.
Surprisingly, the door does appear.
What's behind the door?
I mean, that is a good question. You're the one who set up the door.
No, I'm just wondering, like, because
Tyson goes towards the door.
if we can continuously make doors inside of doors, inside of doors, inside of doors, where do we end up? This is an infinite space now.
This is fucking Inception.
So actually, I'll say this. The door does open. It's nowhere you've been before, JK, but it's something else. It appears to be the wreckage of Sophia's old house. And you see a younger Sophia there, and someone else as well. Let me just get a picture of this person real quick.
I'm imagining it's not Zordon, who's further up in the gift chain.
It's Theo, isn't it?
Copy image, and we paste it. This is who this person looks like. As soon as it processes, please.
Oh my god!
Oh my name
Of course. Of course it's the Pooch Master.
Ah, the first most dangerous priest in this setting.
So you look through the doorway, you're able to see sort of the scene as younger Sophia is crying at the wreckage, while this particular character, the players, out of character, I should say, the players, and for the audience's sake as well, is one Enrico Pucci.
The main antagonist of JoJo's Part 6.
Yes.
No, he's the main protagonist.
No.
If you're Dio, yes, but...
Or a Dio Stan.
Nonetheless. You see the two conversing with one another. You're not close enough to hear what they're saying to each other, but it appears to be very few words exchanged between them. Eventually, you see Pucci rustling around his robe and pull out a CD that appears to be sealed and gives it to Sophia. And then Enrico Pucci walks off.
I have no idea who that is.
That was the day I got the creator. See, I never did find that CD that priest had given me. I have no idea where it went off to.
So,
And the man who gave this to me, he gave it as a watch.
Yes, okay. Yes. I suppose that needs to be cleared up at this point, especially if the world's going to end in who knows how long.
It's not.
But
I have an idea.
your stand, if you talked with Theo, you probably know then that your stand, it wasn't given to you, it was inherited through your ancestors. Well, after a bit of digging, I did find the person I was looking for. See, when a master takes up an apprentice, and that apprentice becomes even more popular than their master, then usually the master is phased out of history, and the apprentice is the one who eventually becomes a master themselves. It seems for your ancestors it was no different. Tell me, do you know who Harry Houdini is, by chance?
I've heard of him.
You mean the famous magician?
Well, Harry Houdini is just a moniker. It's just a stage name that he gave himself. And, well, the name Houdini is a play on Harry Houdini's master, Jean-Eugene Robert Houdin. And he is your ancestor. And just so happened to be a stand user as well.
Huh.
So he's related to Houdini.
He's related to Houdini's master.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Who was a magician, an occultist, and a clockmaker.
Well, that's all very interesting, but more to the point, the fucking meteors. Is it?
Oh, so I have an idea to beat those meteors.
So do I.
Yes.
We just use your stand.
Yeah, that was okay. So we have
just
the same
lower
idea.
the density
then.
of them.
Well, no. Here's the thing. I was doing a lot of thinking based on what Pauline was doing with her super speed attack, and it stirred up some old memory of physics classes.
You've met Pamela, then?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we kicked her ass.
And I think that it's risky, and it might destroy the entire galaxy, or it could also deflect the meteorites. What's the
What did you
strongest?
have in mind?
What's the strongest force in all the universe?
String theory?
Antimatter.
Related to antimatter, but what happens to a star when it dies?
It goes supernova and explodes.
And when it collapses under its own weight? When it becomes too dense?
It becomes a black hole. You're not serious, are you?
Not our star. One along the way. And not even an actual star. A micro one.
Wouldn't
Something
that not
that-
have enough density, even if you were to mass to create enough density?
Not if we use it on Mars.
But doesn't that place need moms?
Not the time.
If we do this, considering Mars doesn't have a breathable atmosphere, yes, we would get a chance to get ahead of the meteors and stop it before it gets to Earth, but there's no guarantee we won't die moments after doing so.
So I have an idea. I throw LA Plus at Tyson.
This doesn't have an infinite range, you know that, yes?
True, but I mean, if you train enough of them.
And how far can New Divide go?
I don't know anything about your stand, Tyson. Yours is one I didn't create, so I know nothing about it.
It affects density.
Oh,
Wait, how about little black submarines? What's the range on that?
well, you did create my stand, but you've never had two copies of it. This isn't possible with just one copy of Virtual Insanity. But if a door can be made on the inside of a memory through another memory, and then the process can be repeated, we can create infinite space.
Just have the meteors keep rotating around each other forever in the same spot?
Through making a focus point with Linkin Park. And then the infinite space to trap them in.
This...
Sounds dumb.
It's plausible, but it's dangerous.
And it would come with another caveat. one of us would have to stay behind to keep the room from destabilizing.
But does that count the projections from the box?
What?
Yeah.
Can the box
Can
stay
LA Plus
behind?
stay behind? You said it had near infinite. I heard it had near infinite energy, right?
This is correct.
Enough to sustain the rooms.
Now you're thinking with portals.
But the box has to stay open from someone meditating on it.
So, stupid idea. We launch it using that.
Using LA Plus?
So we use the two portals and then launch them into another planet.
This is some Kerbal Space Program shit.
This is getting really interesting. All right.
Think about it. We create enough energy to between the two going back and forth infinitely, or for a large period of time, until it gets enough energy, and then we cut the one that it would be flinging towards the Earth, and so it fires off into a direction that is away from Earth.
Into a separate direction. I see.
I know it's dumb, but I mean, it's a thought.
It's not dumb if it has a chance of working.
It's also exceedingly dangerous.
You know what's even more dangerous? Doing nothing and letting the world get blasted to bits.
Less dangerous and more
Reckless.
empathetic.
No, you're not. You're not the one who's going to be left behind. You need to take care of people.
We could leave the box behind. That way no one has to stay.
Could work.
Your punishment is a lot worse than is going to be a lot worse than that.
We'll cover that later. In the meantime, that god, is it still on the way, or is it just the meteors?
It's just the meteors. The god is still trapped on Mars. It can't do anything until it gets to Earth.
Question, did the Mars rovers ever find anything on that?
Uncertain. Reports have not come back yet for that.
Yeah, I think that only happened like in 2022 or something.
Well, I know the Mars rover died in 2022. Rest in peace.
Rest in
Requiescat de
peace.
pace.
And it actually had a sad final message because it was like, wait, why am I going home? My battery's dying. What do you mean I'm not going home?
Oh, goodness. Anyways.
So
This is
we need a way to get into. We need to get into orbit then. Good thing we have a ride.
Ticket to ride.
With your ability, with Jean's ability, we would be able to do it.
Who's Jean?
Jean Eugene Robert.
Oh, that Jean. Okay.
Tyson's ancestor.
Something else other than what I had in mind then, because I'll just reel my cards on the table. Linkin Park Go Beyond. That is the idea I had for the final upgrade.
And don't worry, I had something similar in mind.
And if anyone asks, yes, that involves the spin.
Oh my goodness. From my research into Jean Eugene's life, I know this ability that, or at least I know what he called this ability. He called it the origins of escape.
That's a dope name.
With it, he could bring any object that he could see to him, or he could go to any object he could see.
That explains why you thought it could bring the god here.
Doesn't matter if you had a exact location on this god, as long as you could see the body of this god, or just look at the planet Mars itself, you would be able to bring it back with Origins of Escape.
Either way, we have to get moving first.
I suppose so.
We're coming up on 3 hours. I think there's enough content left for one episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is really interesting. Not how I expected the final confrontation to go.
This is not also how I expected this to go, but here we are.
What did your GM notes say this would happen as?
You would all have the actual fight, I'll reveal all cards on the table. This was going to be a thing where both I, the creator, got to fight, but Sophia would get to use all other stands for her separate turn.
I can't believe I stopped this by talking.
I can't believe social foo worked.
We did, yeah. We decided to talk. It's like, all right, no more.
And then if you guys had beaten both I, the creator, and her, then eventually it would get to the point where the revolver is pulled out.
But we managed to get her into the cool it zone. Once again, the truth field, no matter what campaign we're in, is the most critical tool. Somewhere or nods approvingly.
Oh, all right. Do we just want to stop it there and we'll continue this?
I think the
time?
the TV continued frame is just the meteors flying through space.
All right. Actually, I know the perfect to be continued. So the to be continued for this. We shift out of the door that led into the past, outside of Massachusetts, as we go further and further out. So further out that we get a grand view of America and parts of Canada.
Oh, Canada.
The camera starts to shift over to the Middle East. It starts to zoom in more and more into Saudi Arabia, where it goes deeper in, until we focus in on a singular hut. It appears to be homemade. It appears to be man-made, made of wood and just natural materials in general. There is a man in there with a deep set of brown eyes. He lifts up his head and through his window looks towards the sky. I see you've been pushed too far. Fine. I guess I have to deal with this now. To be continued.